with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Good tailgating night tonight here at Miller Park. Right off I-94, Brewers Buccos. First of a 4-game series, and as Telly mentioned, the Brewers have had their way with Pittsburgh here lately. They have a 9-game winning streak here at Miller Park. And Rock, he talked about Ryan Braun, the kind of season he's having. Ryan with another multi-homer game yesterday as the Brewers swept the Colorado Rockies. And you got to start to put this in context. He's having one of the great months of his career. He might be having one of the best seasons of his career.
Yeah, it's been a really good season for Ryan Braun for a lot of different reasons. You know, the back surgery in the offseason. He lost his cleanup hitter at the end of July. Jonathan Lucroy traded away, but still Ryan Braun able to put up the numbers. Look at the month of August that he is putting together, a .301 batting average. Home runs, RBIs, he's getting base hits, and Craig Counsell manages playing time very well, and he's been able to stay in the lineup just about every day.
Well, Ryan Braun's back in there today. The Brewers coming off a sweep of the Rockies. They've won 4 straight. They tried to make it 5 in a row tonight. We got some of the big-time base stealers in baseball in our matchup. Starling Marte, Jonathan Villar, going to be running wild tonight. It's Brewers Bucks, Game 1 coming up.
Drastic differences for the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the early 90s, Barry Bonds led them to the postseason 3 straight years. In 1993, Barry headed west and the Pirates went south. The Steel City became home to 20 consecutive losing seasons. In 2013, it was another electrifying outfielder that led their resurgence. Behind Andrew McCutchen, the Pirates became winners again and have reached the playoffs 3 straight years. This year, they're in the hunt for another postseason berth. And this weekend, the Brewers can have an impact on the standings. Brewers baseball starts now.
And we are just about ready for first pitch tonight. Big Willie Peralta on the mound this evening. His 4th start since being recalled from the minor leagues, taking on the Pirates of Pittsburgh. And tonight's game on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. What a beautiful night for baseball it is. Clint Hurdle and the Pirates are here. And the Pirates right now 3.5 back in the wild card chase. And they're trying to make it back there for the 4th consecutive season. Hurdle's lineup looks like this, courtesy of Potawatomi. Josh Harrison, Starling Marte, and Andrew McCutchen at the top. Gregory Polanco, David Freese, and Josh Bell in the middle of the order, with Cervelli, Mercer, and Chad Kuhl, the rookie pitcher, on the mound and batting 9th. And that's the batting order that will face Willie Peralta. And we're ready to play ball tonight as Josh Harrison digs in. First pitch of the ball game from Peralta is in there for a strike, and away we go. Great to have you with us on a Thursday night in Milwaukee. Starts a 4-game series with the Pirates. Series that will conclude with a day game on Sunday. And then the Cardinals are coming to town Monday. So in all for the Brewers, a 10-game homestand. And Willie Peralta has been able to seize an opportunity in a second chance to get back to the big leagues this year.
Yeah, he has been pretty good. 3 starts since his return from the minor leagues. He's 1-2, but a .350 earned run average. And last time out at Seattle, he took a loss.
Line drive to right, a base hit for Harrison. And swinging a pretty hot bat here lately, and a man on to start this game for the Pirates.
Hey, let's check out the Menards Brewers defense. You got Ryan Braun in left, Neuenhuis, Perez in the outfield. So Perez moves back out into the outfield. VR Arcia on the left side, Jeanette Carter on the right side, and Manny Pena. Third time that Willie Peralta has thrown to Pena behind home plate. And last time out it was Maldonado.
Braun coming off his big day yesterday. The Brewers beating the Rockies 7-1. Braun was 2 for 4, 3 runs batted in. He hit 2 homers. And now 24 for the season for Ryan Braun. There's a line shot foul in the seats. Starling Marte up there aggressive on Willie Peralta. Now Marte checks in at 3:06. We showed you as we went to commercial. This is a matchup featuring 2 of the great base stealers in the National League. Marte and VR, 2 of the top 3 base stealers, chasing Billy Hamilton of the Reds right now. And a very aggressive Pittsburgh ball club in all facets too, Rock. A team that will run. It's not just the stolen bases. It's first to third, trying to score from first on extra base hits to the gap or down the lines, and also a general hitting approach that is aggressive as well.
Yeah, one of the reasons they don't hit a lot of home runs, and I think PNC Park has a lot to do with that. That's a tough ballpark to hit home runs. You have to be aggressive, take chances, and hit with runners in scoring position. Pirates coming in here limping in here. Actually, they haven't been playing all that well.
Pirates have lost 5 out of their last 6. They lost 5-4 yesterday against Houston at home and dropped that series 2 out of 3 to the Astros. And their ace struggled yesterday. Garrett Cole, he was the losing pitcher and gave up 5 earned runs in 5 innings. So Clint Hurdle has some trouble in Pittsburgh. He's trying to get his ball club back on track. This is a team that won 7 in a row earlier in the season, but has been an inconsistent ball club. And yet through all of that, they sit here 2 games over 500, Rock, and they are just 3.5 back in the wild card spot, and they're very familiar with a wild card chase. They've been in there the last 3 years.
Yeah, last 3 years, and have been bounced out each of the last 3. So I would imagine that the fact that the Cubs got out to such a quick start kind of put them behind the 8 ball, if you will. I mean, kind of disappointing. I know the Pirates thought that they had a pretty good shot to win a division, but at the trading deadline, they traded away their closer, Mark Melancon, and just have not been playing all that well as of late. But as you mentioned, they're still in the hunt, and the Brewers know it, and the Pirates know that they have not been very good here at Miller Park as of late.
And Clint Hurdle gets a lot of those questions, and he has ever since he took over as the manager. Telly gave you the numbers. They do shock you a little to see since 2007. Let's call that the Ryan Braun era of Brewers baseball. 64 wins and 17 losses, the Brewers here at Miller Park. There's a swing and a miss. Throw to second. The tag is in time for the out. The tag was on the back leg, and a strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Now you can run on Willie Peralta. He's got that high leg kick, but look at the throw by Pena. He's got a pretty good throwing arm. And you can see clearly he got him on the back before he hit the bag. Harrison knows it right away that he's out. This one not even close, actually. I mean, he is well out, and a good throw by Pena. Kind of a difficult release for him. He was kind of off balance.
You got to give Jeanette a lot of credit there as well. Took that throw right on the back of Harrison. And 2 quick outs with that 1 pitch and throw to second. So the base is empty with 2 away for a former MVP and Andrew McCutchen. This is the one guy that comes up just about every night for the Pirates as the one who can either make or break this ball club offensively. And you see by the numbers, it has been a down season for McCutchen.
And the Pirates keep waiting for him to get hot. He has not. He really hasn't gone on one of those stretches that they anticipated. He's healthy. Nobody can figure it out. But yeah, the numbers way down. 246 batting average.
McCutchen has set such a high standard for himself that 246 average, 17 homers, 52 driven in. That's not the kind of production that you need from a guy hitting in the middle of your order. On base percentage just 326, and really no injury to speak of for McCutchen, at least that we know of. So it's just a down year for him, and the Pirates are hoping that the old McCutchen will show up shortly because they're going to need him. Full count to McCutchen, and he hits that one high in the air to left. Got some carry to it. Braun is back there looking up, and it is gone. A home run for McCutchen. His 18th of the season, and he gives the Pirates a 1-0 lead in the first inning.
Yeah, as we sit here and talk about how disappointing the season is for McCutchen, right? Willie Peralta hangs a breaking pitch. It was a slider. And Andrew McCutchen got it down on the end, but able to get it out of here right down the line. You see that slider really didn't do much. McCutchen puts a good swing on it, knocks it out of here. So the good throw by Manny Pena saves the Brewers a run. Just able to sneak over the wall right down the left field line. Actually second deck.
So the Pirates up 1-0. And McCutchen gives him a little life. You can even see in that Pirates dugout. All these players are hoping McCutchen can have a little late season rally, and they're all on their feet with him as he comes in.
Telling Josh Harrison what he hit out of the ballpark. Asking Harrison, what did you get? That's what the guys do down in that dugout. They exchange, pitches, what the result was.
Gregory Polanco now with 2 away. Peralta has been bit by the home run bug here lately. His last 7 innings pitched, he's given up 3 homers now. Gave up 2 in the Mariners game his last time out on August 20th. Had not allowed a home run in his first 2 starts coming back from AAA. He was down in the minor leagues for about 2 months, June 11th through August 9th. And he was sent down not because of injury, because of ineffectiveness. And he wasn't pitching all that well in AAA either, but he came back and got a new life. Strikes out Polanco to end the inning. Couple of Ks, but Andrew McCutchen delivers a home run for the Pirates. Andrew McCutchen with a solo homer in the first inning, and Craig Counsell and the Brewers will have to play uphill tonight, as they say, down early. Craig Counsell's Potawatomi batting order tonight has VR back at the top, Scooter Gennett and Ryan Braun. In the middle it goes Perez, Carter, and Nieuwenhuis. Arcia's back in there today with Pena and Willie Peralta rounding out the starting nine. That will face rookie right-hander Chad Kuhl.
Yeah, making start number 8. So far so good. 3-1 record, a 362 earned run average. He's got that 250 opponent batting average. His numbers down in AAA were pretty good. He had 6 and 3 at 237 earned run average. Made his first start with the Pirates back on June 26 against the Dodgers, and he was able to pick up a win.
Jonathan Villar leads off for the Brew Crew, hitting an even 300 coming into play tonight. And looks at the first one, a called strike. Villar at 300 with 10 homers, 45 driven in, an on-base percentage over 380. And Villar with an OPS right now of 822. Ton of production from the top of the batting order. Jonathan had 2 hits yesterday, including an RBI. Had a double in yesterday's game. Brewers continue to play well at Miller Park. There's a swinging strike, says the third base umpire, and down goes Villar.
Yeah, let's check out the Pirates Menards defense here tonight. A very athletic outfield, maybe one of the most athletic in all of baseball. Marte, McCutchen, Polanco. You got David Freese, Jordy Mercer, Josh Harrison, and Josh Bell over at first base. Bell at first, and Francisco Cervelli behind home plate. Pirates tied for the most double plays in all the National League. They've turned 132.
And they've got a Gold Glover out there in center field, and Andrew McCutchen. Here's Scooter Gennett. Scooter back in the 2-hole here tonight. Broxton hit second yesterday with the left-hander on the mound. And Scooter having a good season. A 268 hitter coming in, 10 homers and 40 driven in. It's been an interesting season for Gennett. He started out hot this year, and then he got hurt. Had an oblique injury that knocked him out for about 3 weeks, and came back and struggled mightily when he returned. This was all early in the season, within the first month of the season. But then he hit his stride once the weather started to warm up in June, and he's been a good hitter, and he's been a good hitter against left-handed pitching this year as well. Something new for him, something that he has not had success in his career up till this season.
Yeah, he got the game-winning hit in Seattle on Sunday against a lefty. Dumped one into left field.
2-2 on the way, and Gennett rolls one to second base. Josh Harrison makes the play for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down. Here comes Ryan Braun. Those 2 home runs yesterday on the Powerball home run count gives him 24 for the season, which sets him up for a chance at 30 this year. And Braun's had a great month of August. Ryan with 28 RBIs this month. Only Nolan Arenado of the Rockies with more RBIs. Arenado homered yesterday. He has 29 RBIs in the month of August.
Yeah, it's been an impressive season for Ryan. You know, after the back surgery and losing his cleanup hitter behind him, Jonathan Lucroy.
On the first pitch, a grounder over to Mercer, and that'll be a quick inning for Chad Kuhl. Brewers go in order with a strikeout. We go to the second, 1-0 Buccos.
here in the top of the second inning at Miller Park, where the Brewers have had a lot of success all season long, but especially since July 25th, the Brewers have a 12-5 home record, which is second best in baseball. And overall this season, the Brewers are 36-29 at home, as opposed to just 20-41 on the road. I had a chance to catch up with Craig Counsell and ask him about this, and he said it's really too hard to figure out, because if you look at the 2011 team, a team that had 96 wins, they had a losing road record then. And he said, but if you want to look at a simple answer to this, he said it comes down to hitting better at home. But you can't really figure that one out, because if you throw in Kirk Neuenhuis and Chris Carter, this is their first year at Miller Park, and they have been able to be much better hitters at home as opposed to on the road. So a long story short, BA and Rock really can't figure it out.
Right. I think we go back to the Zach Greinke method.
Coffee.
It's got to be the coffee here at Miller Park. David Freese leads off for the Pirates. Now the Brewers are +7 here at Miller Park this year. Arcia will gobble this up. Freese is retired.
Yeah, believe it or not, there are things that happen in life that you really can't explain, right? I mean, you confront that stuff all the time, and the Brewers' success at home, particularly a couple of their hitters, Neuenhuis and Carter, go figure. You know, the Brewers play in a lot of very hitter-friendly ballparks on the road.
Yeah, Carter's great success here, especially with the home run ball. Neuenhuis hitting for a very high batting average at Miller Park. Over 300 here. Both in the lineup today. One away. Here's Josh Bell, a newcomer to the scene for the Pirates, a switch hitting first baseman. Pittsburgh converted him last year from the outfield to first base in the minor league system.
And that's a pretty good start right there.
He had a run that ended a couple of days ago where he had 6 consecutive hits at the plate going. He was put on the active major league roster for Jung Ho Kang, who is out with an injury, out with a shoulder injury. They're hoping to get him back in mid-September, and here comes Josh Bell, who's taken some of the playing time away from John Jaso at first base, and as a switch hitting option gives the Pirates a little pop in the middle of their batting order. He was hitting .295 with 14 homers and 60 RBIs at AAA.
Yeah, Jaso's been playing a lot of first base, particularly early in the season. It really hadn't had the run production to justify playing first base. You're talking 4 home runs and 29 RBIs in first base. You've got to get a lot more run production out of your first baseman than that.
2-2 down and away. 3 balls 2 strikes on Bell.
It's like Willie's trying to throw some changeups tonight. Started to throw a few changeups. No, in Seattle, starting to feel more comfortable with that pitch. He's only going to throw them really to lefties.
Full count. Bell lays off. He draws the walk. Showed a good eye. And the rookie is aboard. 1 out base runner. First walk issued by Peralta. That'll put a man on for Cervelli. What a great addition Cervelli has been for the Pirates. When they lost Russell Martin prior to last season, thought that might be a blow they wouldn't be able to recover from. Martin, one of the elite catchers still, and on both sides too, a guy that gives you a lot of punch offensively, a lot of clutch hits, Russell Martin. But Cervelli came in, did a great job for Pittsburgh last year.
Yeah, the big concern was how Cervelli was going to be able to, manage the game, call the game, handle the pitching staff, and you haven't heard anybody talk about missing Russell Martin at all. Russell Martin, one of the best in the business at that. He's doing it, in Toronto. And Cervelli has done a good job behind home plate.
Shows bunt, drops it down. Going to be a tough play. Peralta throws to first in time. Nice play. Willie Peralta bouncing off the mound, looking spry out there.
Yeah, he does. He's bouncing around, and Cervelli was trying to bunt for a base hit. It looks like he might get a sacrifice, but that was not a sacrifice attempt. He was trying to get on base with a drag bunt. You can see the big lead by Bell. He's able to get in easily, and a good play by Willie. Good snap throw over to first base.
A converted position player, Willie Peralta. He was an outfielder as a youth. And makes a nice play. Will go as a sack. 2 outs in the inning, though. Bell ends up at second base. And here is Jordy Mercer batting 8th for the Pirates tonight.
And be careful here. You got the pitcher coming up. First base open.
A swinging strike is called at first base. Mercer unable to check it. 0-1 the count. As the pitcher due next, the rookie Cool. Oh, and 2 now. Peralta with good velocity early, partner. It's coming in there at 96, 97 miles an hour.
And he's been doing that, you know, each of his first 4 starts since coming back. Fastball's been much better, more effective, and the slider's been very good.
A 1-out walk. Josh Bell, he's at second now. And the 0-2 from Peralta. Slider, pretty good one too, and Mercer was ready for it. Takes it.
And that's where you want it with 2 strikes. You don't want to throw it over the plate. See if he'll chase it. Another trip between Pena and Peralta. These guys getting to know each other pretty well out there in the mound.
I tell you, and I don't blame Pena this quick trip to the mound here, because if you're a catcher, you get a slider like that with 2 strikes and the hitter just lays off. You feel like you get a little, you get a little eerie feeling that somebody has your signs maybe.
Well, if they were changing signs, they'd have brought the middle infielders in.
1-2 now. And a fastball misses in.
A lot of times when a slider starts a little soon, it's a little bit big, like that 0-2 slider was, you can pick it up easily, and it looks as though you might know it's coming, but those very late breaking short sliders are the ones you want.
That's been the pitch that Peralta has been without, and he misses badly with that one too. So count goes 3-2 now. It's never been an issue with the velocity of Peralta, but the snap on the breaking ball is the reason he struggled so. When Peralta's right, when his fastball is humming along at 96, 97, and he's got that slider that he featured 2 years ago, he's a lights out pitcher. That one missed. Ball 4.
I'm not sure where that missed. That looked like a pretty good pitch. Dale Scott, home plate umpire, didn't like it. Well, it's a slider. It's up, but it's on the corner. Let's see where Fox Tracks has it. Yeah, strike. Swing the bat.
Well, Dale Scott, the crew chief. And now 2 on. Mercer was down 0-2. Willie issues his second walk of the inning, and now it's Chad Kuhl, who has 1 hit as a big leaguer. Just 1 for 11 is Kuhl. Made his major league debut on June 26th, and a memorable one at that. Kuhl faced Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball that night. Pirates won the game. Peralta in trouble with 2 on, but facing the pitcher here. You always love to get greedy and have a pitcher lead off the next inning or have him bat in the 3rd, but he was very careful to Mercer.
Well, he got ahead of Ramon too, just couldn't get him to bite on the slider. He hung a couple. He looked like he struck him out on the 3-2 pitch. Just didn't get the call.
Top of the order due next, Josh Harrison, who singled his first time up. One and 2 the count. And Kuhl able to hang in there. Stepped in the bucket, still fouled it off.
Some happy feet, still able to get a piece of it. You don't get style points really, just you know, hang in there. Just trying to put the ball in play, maybe get lucky.
There's only been one player in the history of baseball that earned the nickname Bucketfoot and made it work. Milwaukee native, Hall of Famer Al Simmons. Bucketfoot Simmons. Did he go? He did, says Dale Scott, the home plate umpire, and the inning is over. So Peralta with 3 Ks early, strands a couple in the second. As we go to the bottom of the second, Hernan Perez will lead off this second inning for the Brewers. You knew he'd be in the lineup. He's had a lot of success against the Pirates. 5 multi-hit games since the All-Star break against the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's swinging the bat well, and of course playing terrific defense, and versatile defender is Hernan Perez, third base and right field.
And no matter where Craig Counsell puts him, he's been swinging the bat. I don't know if it's the Pirates or it's just the second half. Perez hitting over 300 in the second half of the season, and Craig Counsell just can't get him out of the lineup. Why would you? And he's had particularly good success against his Pirate ball club, as have a lot of the Brewers. Not only this year here at Miller Park, but you know, since 2007, Brewers have done well against Pittsburgh.
We see Perez post All-Star game and hitting .309, high OPS. He's earned his way into the lineup, whether it be third base, second base, or right field. Tonight he gets a start in right. Talk about a player that has made the most of his opportunity. There's a few of those guys for the Brewers this season. VR, Perez, Keon Broxton. Those are good stories. You like those stories. Little cue shot out to second. Harrison's got it, and there is out number 1.
And don't you think that the Brewers have him, you're counting on him heavily going into 2017. I mean, with a guy that can hit and play all over the place, you don't think that the Brewers have big plans for Perez down the road. The fact that he's so versatile is what makes him so valuable.
Here's Chris Carter now. Sitting on 30 home runs. And a little half swing. Look out. He almost wiped out his teammate, Kirk Neuenhuis, who is on deck. Yeah, easy to smile about it now. That one went right by his face.
Yeah, get back over toward the dugout. Yeah, see, Kirk moved over there. You're better chance getting one there than where he did before.
That ball's hit hard into center field, right at McCutchen. That had some heat on it. And a line drive out for out number 2.
Hey, don't miss the season's final free shirt Friday. That's tomorrow night as the Brew Crew hosts these Pittsburgh Pirates, and all fans in attendance get a free MKE home t-shirt. That's courtesy of Experience Fitness. Reserve your spot today at Brewers.com.
Pirates in for 4, then the Cardinals for 3. Nice long homestand. The Brewers don't have many home games left on the schedule after this one. So make sure you come out and see us. Hang out at Miller Park, always a great place to be.
Only 9 games at home in September.
Neuenhuis takes a strike. Yeah, if there's one guy that's upset about that, it's this guy, Kirk Neuenhuis, who loves hitting at Miller Park. Kirk hitting .295. 9 homers, 9 of his 11 coming here, 26 RBIs. Made a great catch to get this homestand started against the Rockies. Diving catch in right field. Been a good player for the Brewers this season.
Yeah.
So much so, Domingo Santana is having a hard time breaking into the lineup right now.
And he's healthy. There's nothing wrong with him. Craig Counsell has elected to keep the guys in there that have been playing most of the year. And Keon Broxton.
Santana did start in right field yesterday. Had a hit. Broxton was the center fielder yesterday. And a swing and a miss. Neuenhuis strikes out. 3 up, 3 down, and 6 in a row to start for Chad Kuhl. Can't catch the games on television? You can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go. We head to the 3rd inning at Miller Park, Milwaukee on a beautiful Thursday night. Pirates up 1-0, and Drew McCutchen with a first inning homer. And the Pirates back at the top of their order. Josh Harrison will lead off, then Marte, and then McCutchen. Peralta has walked 2, struck out 3, given up the 2 hits. Harrison had the other. Had a clean single to start this game. And a little jam shot into center field. Coming in Neuenhuis, and he's got it for out number 1.
There's that big fastball from Willie. 96 in on his hands and ate him up. Good pitch. Still has good life on that fastball. Just got to get more consistent with his slider. It's been a little bit erratic here in the early going tonight. But that fastball, nothing wrong with that pitch.
1 away for Starling Marte. And another broken bat Nice play on a dive. VR. The throw not in time. Close play. Marte has great speed.
What a heck of a play by VR. If that ball gets to Arcia, there's no chance you're going to throw him out, but he made it close. And regular speed, he looks safe, but check this out. He gets up quickly and a good arm over to first. And bang, bang. Craig Counsell's looking at it. Yep, safe.
Counsell shakes his head, and we play on. Infield hit for Starling Marte. Well, VR certainly wanting to keep him off the base pads. He is right there with him in the stolen base categories.
Yeah, but again, if that ball gets by him, he doesn't do that dive and get the ball himself. He gets the VR, no chance. Or I should say, Arcia, he didn't have a chance to get him.
McCutchen now with a runner at first, one away. Peralta's pitch from the stretch quite often here tonight. Stolen base leaders in the National League. Billy Hamilton sets the pace with the Reds, 53. Then VR, first 50 stolen base season for the Brewers in a long time, since Scott Pasednik had 70 steals back in '03. And then Marte's at 41. The thing about Hamilton, VR, and Marte, Hamilton has a very high success rate, while VR and Marte are 1-2 in the league in caught stealing as well.
And both of them, when they go on, they have to be careful. You got some pretty good thunder, behind him in the batting order.
There he goes. Pitch is taken. Throw to second is on the wrong side of the bag, and Marte's in there. A stolen base. That is a career high for Starling Marte.
Yeah, tough pitch to throw on for Manny Pena. Plus, I mean, there's always that stress level when you know a base stealer is at first base. You try and be a little bit too quick, and when you do that, you're out in front, and you normally don't make a good throw. You just got to take your normal release and hope for the best. You can't really make up for a good jump.
Brewers are taking a look at the video to see if his hand came off the bag.
Jeanette doing a good job holding that tag.
And the Brewers won't challenge this. So stolen base number 42 for Marte. His career best had been 41. Did that 3 years ago. And he's in scoring position for McCutchen with one out. On the ground foul. 0-2 the count. By the way, that pitch that Marte ran on was called a strike.
And Andrew McCutchen not too happy about either one of the calls.
McCutchen had the day off from the starting lineup yesterday in that Pirates loss at home to the Astros. Clint Hurdle trying to give him a day. He's come back fresh. He's hit a home run tonight. Pirates have been knocking at the door the last 3 years. They haven't been able to get out of the wild card window. And the way the Cubs are playing right now, a division title is out of reach. Cubs, by the way, have won 22 of their last 27 games and running away with it in the division.
And this pitch just off the outside corner, not by much. Fox Tracks never lies as much as we'd like it to.
2-2 the count. And a shot, base hit into center. Marte's going to score easily. McCutchen just stayed right down on it and drove it into center field. And his second RBI makes it 2-0 Pirates.
And just trying to put the bat on the baseball. Just shortens up. He punches it out of the reach of Jeanette. They had him shifted up the middle. And no chance. Just check it out. I mean, a fastball big fastball. Look at McCutchen. And just lays the bat out there. You can see where Jeanette is. No chance for him. Actually hits it right at the second base umpire. And that with Starling Marte on second base, that's an easy run.
So the stolen base pays off. Now we hit the air talking about the running game for both of these teams. Harrison was cut down trying to steal a base in the first inning. A successful steal here leads to a run. Gregory Polanco now with McCutchen at first. Strikeout victim in the first inning.
Now those two at bats by McCutchen kind of give you a sense of how well he does in making adjustments. A home run to left on a slider, and then on a good fastball with 2 strikes, just kind of sticks the bat out there and hits a bullet out there into center field. That is why the Pirates are somewhat flummoxed. The fact that he hadn't had a very good year. You like that word?
That's a good word.
I learned that from you.
It's a perfect description.
Bewildered.
It's a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to count.
I said that. Did you even hear me? Did you even react?
Well, I didn't. You know, I wanted to kind of act like I'd been there before.
No, I don't use those words.
I just felt like maybe you got into a crossword puzzle today or
just
something.
seeing if you were awake.
Did you say something wrong?
Yeah. Flummoxed. It's a good word. I'm going to start using it.
Dropping all the big words on us now, aren't you?
A day off yesterday.
You're feeling fresh. You and Andrew McCutchen are
feeling
coming back.
good.
The 1-1, a strike on the outside corner. 1-2 to Polanco. You still have to consider the Pirates outfield the best in the big leagues as far as defense, offense combo, talent, youth,
throwing arms. Yeah.
That Boston Red Sox outfield is challenging them a little bit with Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts. And the rookie Andrew Benintendi, who hurt his knee last night. But this is still the incumbent here. And this is an outfield that is comprised of 3 center fielders, essentially. McCutchen was the first to arrive, and he's the center fielder. Marte moved to left, Polanco moved to right. 1-2 the count on Polanco, and he fights another one off. Polanco now in his 3rd year, and just keeps getting better and better. He's having his best season across the board. Already has a new career high for homers. He's hit 19 this year.
For the most part, it hasn't been the offense that's been the issue for the Pirates. I mean, their pitching, their starting rotation has been a bit inconsistent. A lot of injuries. Get some pitching down the stretch. They keep the guys swinging the bat. They got a chance.
And time is asked for and granted late.
And Willie Peralta does the right thing. Just keeps going. You get hurt by holding up like that. Saw that happen to Manny Pena on a throw to second base. He looked like he was ready to uncork one to second. He stopped and hurt his shoulder. Well, best off just continuing with your delivery when that happens.
1-2. And Polanco lays off. Well, right now, first 3 innings, Peralta has a good fastball, but he's struggling with the put away pitch. He hasn't been able to find it.
That was kind of the issue before he got sent down. First 3 starts since coming back, he was able to put hitters away. Whether he strikes them out or they put it in play, but still in all, they're kind of spitting on all the pitches in the dirt.
2-2 now. A little half swing. Did he go? He did not. And now it's to 3-2.
Just can't get that swing on a slider out of the zone. He was getting that in the first 3 starts.
Close, but a check swing.
Did he offer? Could have.
Full count. Let's see if McCutchen's on the move at first. Stays put. Polanco right off the end of the bat to Peralta. And that'll be out number 2. Does advance McCutchen to second. 2 men are out though. And Willie will deal with David Freese. Pitchers came out early today for the Brewers. Worked on that play right there. Willie Peralta wasn't involved in that, but all the starters and relievers.
PFP before batting practice, pitchers fielding practice. Making throws like that, covering first base.
Brewers took infield practice as well before batting practice. Sticking to the fundamentals. That's been one thing we've seen from this Craig Counsell Ball Club. They do pick a specific fundamental, whether it's early work or whether it's a team drill. And so many young players here, so many players fighting for jobs for next year. Carlos Subero, the infield coach, is the man who organizes all of that. And so just trying to establish those good habits. It's hard to do that and maintain that through the course of a long season, but if you do that early and it's part of the regular routine, especially at home,
right,
then your players are used to it.
You don't get to do that on the road. Home team usually is afforded that luxury, coming out early and getting that early work in. Sometimes it's the outfield getting some work in. Today it was the pitchers.
Peralta has Freese in a 1-1 count. Runner at second. Man, that one's fouled away. Freese is a happy man. He just signed a multi-year contract with the Pirates. Could be a deal that could take him through the 2019 season. There's a team option on the end of it. So before Freese, who's having a terrific season, hit the free agent market, the Pirates locked him up. He's been a big hit, playing third base with the Pirates. A swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. Peralta stayed with a fastball and struck him out. Pirates get one. It's 2-0. We'll visit with David Stearns, the Brewers general manager. We'll have a chat with the boss when we continue. For the Brewers, and David Stearns is with us, the Brewers general manager. We always like to catch up with the GM at least once a homestand, so you're in the window now. Congratulations.
Happy to be here.
You've almost made it through an entire season with us.
Miraculous.
It's been good. We got a lot of information. We appreciate you sharing what you can share, and it's been fun going through the draft with you and then the trade deadline, and now we're kind of getting into the end of the minor league season, maybe some September call-ups. Before we get into that, though, let's get your thoughts quickly on Orlando Arcia, who leads off this inning. What have you seen from him as a big leaguer?
Well, I think we've all seen the defensive acumen that he brings right to the table. And he's a very talented defensive player. He's already impacted the game multiple games with his ability to convert balls that should be going into the center field into outs, and that's meaningful for our pitching staff. Our pitchers have certainly noticed that. At the plate, he's been making adjustments. He clearly has more adjustments he needs to make, but he's working hard, and we knew that part of this process for him up here was going to be understanding what major league pitchers were going to do to him, and we've begun to see that. And I think he understands it. He's a very smart baseball player. He understands game plans against them. It's something that Craig and Darnell Coles have talked to him about, and he's working to address those issues.
Yeah, going forward, it looks like you have a pretty solid left side of the infield. VR's made the transition over to third base relatively nicely. So, has that all gone according to plan for you? Is that the way things have been laid out?
It's certainly been nice to see how well Johnny's adjusted over there. And you never really know how that's going to work out. Jonathan's a guy who's come up and played predominantly shortstop. He has played some other positions throughout his major league career and in winter ball. But for a guy who's played predominantly shortstop, a little bit of second base, he's done a wonderful job over at third the last couple of weeks.
David, we promised we'd give you a little time to let some of these trades unfold a little bit, but obviously the Lucroy trade, Lucroy Jeffers to the Rangers, brought some players over that you guys have your eye on and actually performing very well. And Lewis Brinson, who is at AAA, and Louis Ortiz, who is at AA. What can you tell us about those two guys? And I understand Brinson's hit 2 more home runs tonight at AAA Colorado Springs, so that's been quite a story.
Really has. Both those guys have come over and done about as well as you could possibly expect. Brinson's hitting over 400 now, has 4 home runs, I think, in Colorado Springs. I think he also made what I heard was an incredible diving catch over his shoulder going away from the plate in today's game. And I don't think Ortiz has given up a run as a member of the Brewers organization yet. So that's off to a good start. Obviously, both of these players have elements of their games that they need to work on. But the fortunate part for us is they both seem to really care about getting better.
Manny Pena lines one fair down the left field line. That's going to get down into the corner. And the Brewer catcher on his way to second with a double. First hit of the game for Milwaukee. And a 2-base hit by Manny Pena.
Yeah, Manny's done a good job for you since coming up. He had good numbers down in the minor leagues offensively. You knew he had a chance to hit, but how has his progress behind home plate been so far for you?
It's been great, and I think we all saw him in spring training, and he's a guy who understands the game very well. Probably had some work to do on his receiving, and he went down and did it. And Charlie Green and the rest of our minor league staff did an outstanding job with him. He put in a lot of work himself, and from what I can tell, our pitchers are very comfortable throwing to him at this point. We've already seen his arm strength tonight. And good to have that type of catching depth within the organization.
What can you tell us about that trade? Because he was the player to be named later, the Francisco Rodriguez deal. That was one of, if not the first, one of the first deals you made as Peralta bounces to short. And this will be out number 2. But take us back to that deal that got Pena here to Milwaukee.
You know, in any trade, you went through a number of scenarios, a number of players. We got 2 players back in that deal. Javier Betancourt, who's a middle infielder in AA right now, and Manny. Manny was the player to be named later, and the reason we had to go with a player to be named later structure in that scenario is we had the Rule 5 draft in between, and Manny was Rule 5 eligible. And so we didn't want to acquire a player who was then taken in the Rule 5 draft, so we had to make sure that he got past the Rule 5 draft, and then we were able to complete and announce the trade.
Ah, now it makes sense.
Pretty complicated stuff. I mean, it's not just as easy as making trades, is it?
Not always. Not always. Major League Baseball tends to throw a bunch of rules our way as well that we have to be mindful of.
Slow roller, and there to pick it up is Chad Kuhl, and he'll make the play at first base. All right, David, you're off the hook. Thanks for all the info. We'll keep an eye on those minor league guys, too. We're going to have some more to show you guys, and continued success. We'll see how the season goes all the way in.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, David Stearns, Brewers general manager. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Well, what a beautiful night out on the river. Beautiful night here at Miller Park. It's prime tonight, you could say. I agree. 2-0 Pirates. McCutchen has driven in both runs, had a homer in the first, RBI single in the third. And here we go to the fourth inning now with Peralta back on the mound. Josh Bell will lead off. Always appreciate David Stearns coming in, giving us a few minutes. We'd love to keep him on the air the whole game.
It'd been nice to have a longer inning, right? For a lot of reasons, scoring some runs, but
I feel like we lead the league in long innings, except when the general manager is in the booth, and we want to hear some things from him. But he did give us some great information, and we'll share that throughout the course of this inning, maybe next inning. But some guys in the minor leagues making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And guys we might see in September. We'll have to see how that all plays out. But they're having an excellent season down there. It might not be showing up as a lot of wins and losses, but I think the fact that most publications, those who rate such things, have the Brewers among the best minor league systems is a great sign moving forward. And a piece that David Stearns and Matt Arnold, the assistant GM, wanted to try to put in place right away, and I think they've maybe done it a little faster than they thought.
And David and Matt Arnold have been going around to the minor leagues, checking these guys out. Now that all the trading deadlines are gone and the draft, and able to go down and see the players that performing in the organization, the guys that they picked up. It's going to be an interesting spring training next year for the Brewers. Going to see a lot of good young talent. Maybe one of those years where you take a lot of walks across the parking lot to see some of these guys play on the minor league side.
Yeah, I agree. They're closer than you think to big league stardom. Now here's a guy in those same shoes right now. Josh Bell, prospect, had stalled a little bit. Has always hit. Had some defensive troubles, but he's a hitter, and here he is in the big leagues as he walks for the second time tonight.
Yeah, showing good patience. Hey, Friday nights are student nights here at Miller Park, and tomorrow against the Pirates, all high school and college students can get tickets for just $10. Plus enjoy a special $3 menu through the end of the first inning. Go to brewers.com/students. It will be school time very quickly here in Wisconsin.
It's coming up September 1st for most around the public schools in the state.
Did a little shopping today, and mom and the kids are out. Dad, in some cases, looking for notebooks and pencils and all that kind of stuff. Remember those days?
Get it all lined up. I remember them well.
Kids
my least favorite day of the year.
Did kids still use book covers?
I don't think so.
That was a big deal when what kind of book cover do you want?
You had to. There was an art to taking the book cover, which was usually a paper grocery sack, right? And you'd cut it up, and then the way you folded it, taped it down. Good memory there. I remember book covers. I don't think I could do one again, but we could try. Maybe tomorrow on the pregame show, you and Davey can get out and you have a book cover contest.
Maybe do it. I bet I remember. It's like riding a bike.
It was better when you could make your own, and then of course somebody tried to monetize it, and then they started making book covers, and then there's no fun in that. Oh, and to the count to Cervelli. And a hot shot past Jeanette, a base hit. Cervelli hits that one right on the barrel. And 2 on to start this fourth inning. Well, our Carsoup.com trivia tonight. Who is the only player to be named an all-star with both the Brewers and the Pirates? Good question.
Very nice.
I think I have an idea. Maybe a third baseman. Jason Kendall was a Brewer and a Pirate. Good question tonight.
Yeah.
Here's Jordy Mercer with 2 on, nobody out. And there's a strike from Peralta. And by the way, on the subject of back to school, we always like to send our best out to all those teachers out there preparing their classrooms, getting ready for the students. Appreciate your work, hard work. And no, you always have a place at Miller Park.
Yep, underappreciated, I think, in a lot of cases. My father was a teacher and then a principal of a high school.
Yeah, my wife was a school teacher as well. Jordy Mercer. The key to this inning for Peralta. He's the 8th place hitter. You've got the pitcher due up next. There's a way out of this inning for Peralta, but it starts right here with Mercer. 2 on, nobody out, and Mercer fouls it back.
A ground ball would be ideal, and the way to get that is to throw that power sinker down in the zone. He's got the count in his favor, 1-2. See if he goes after one down, get a ground ball. And then you have the pitcher coming up.
A lot of base runners against Peralta tonight. Pirates have had at least two men reach base in every inning thus far. Scoring in the first and the third. McCutchen homered in the first. He drove in a run with a single last inning. And now Willie wants Pena back out there to discuss.
Now tonight is one of those nights for between Pena and Peralta, because the first 2 times Willie made starts, when he came back, Pena was his catcher, and keep in mind, Pena was catching him down in the minor leagues, so they know each other pretty well. So this is a bit unusual tonight.
1-2. In the dirt, Pena blocks nicely.
One of the things that makes it difficult to call a game when a pitcher is really struggling with his secondary pitch, the slider, is you really don't know when to call it. You don't want to overuse the fastball. You just got to keep calling it and hopes he gets a feel for it. That was a good block by Pena that time to keep that double play in order. But when you're basically a 2-pitch pitcher, which Willie is ordinarily, it's very difficult to get through a game when one of them isn't really working for you. And that's equally as difficult for the catcher in calling a game.
It's been some talk that Peralta might be better served in the bullpen as a late game reliever with that power fastball and slider combo. There's a swing and a miss. So he got a breaking ball and he struck him out with it.
Took a little bit off of it, 90 or 86 miles an hour, and he threw it right down the middle of the plate. Down the middle at the knees, and took a little bit off, and Mercer out in front. That's a big out. Good pitch.
Strikeout number 5 for Peralta. 1 away now with the pitcher Cool coming up. And let's see if he's up there to bunt. Brewers think so. They've got their corner infielders in. Two on, 1 out. Cool squares, and a foul ball. That was headed right for his shoulder.
Willie has been using that fastball in just about all night. First 4 innings, everything in with the fastball, very rarely going away. And this one almost gets a piece of him. He hit it in self-defense, I think.
It came down and hit Pena, the catcher, on a hop. Now Villar's creeping in at third base. And no bunt, a swing. The old butcher boy play, and a foul ball. That's got to put your heart in your throat if you're Jonathan Villar over at third base. I mean, how far is he? He's probably 45 feet from the batter.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get a little bit too close. Even if he bunts it, and he might bunt it over his head as close as he is. Not a real good chance he's going to actually pull the ball with Willie throwing, but he might bunt one over his head.
Let's see what he does. 0-2. Squares and takes it for a ball. 23-year-old Chad Kuhl against Willie Peralta. Squares early. Pulls it back and into right field. There to make the play is Perez. All runners retreat.
That's good contact. Brewers fortunate it was right at Perez.
Well, it had a good sound off the bat. He hit it on the barrel.
Not an easy pitch to hit, too. It was in on him. In off the plate. Pulls those hands in. Kind of a funky little swing, but hit it hard.
He's playing a little pepper with it, it looked like.
And another chat at home plate.
Yeah, Willie this time called Pena out to the mound with Josh Harrison coming up. Top of the order. Here's Harrison. 1 out of 2. 2 on, nobody out. Now 2 on, 2 out. And Harrison on the first pitch. Gobbled up by VR. The throw is up the line, but Carter puts the tag on Harrison. And a good play to end the inning on both ends of that. First VR, then Carter. Peralta gets out of a mess in the 4th.
Coverage of baseball, and we'll begin with Big Papi, who became the oldest player in Major League history to hit 30 home runs in a season at the tender age of 40 years, 9 months, and 6 days. Albert Pujols hit his 584th career home run, passing Mark McGwire for 10th place all time. And former Brewer Carlos Gomez, DFA'd by the Houston Astros, picked up by the Texas Rangers, hit a 3-run home run in his first at-bat with the Rangers off Josh Tomlin.
Well, here it is, Telly, right here. Gomez, what a feeling this has to be as the Indians, the division leaders in the Central, against the Rangers, the division leaders in the West. And Carlos Gomez is on the board with a 3-run homer.
Yeah, he went down to the minor leagues after being picked up by Texas. 3 games down in the minor leagues. First at bat out of the ballpark. So Gomez and Jonathan Lucroy back together again in Texas.
And Jeremy Jeffress.
Yeah.
It's a former Brewer Fest in Arlington. They got the magic going a little bit in Arlington.
Lucroy's doing a pretty good job over there.
Now Lucroy is having a fantastic run with the Rangers right now. By the way, Lucroy is from Louisiana. All the flooding there in Louisiana, he's stepped up some of his humanitarian efforts again, which is no surprise at all. So you give him a lot of credit for that. Jeanette leading the way, pops this one foul back in the seats. Lucroy has hit 7 homers for the Rangers in his 19 games. has 14 runs batted in 19 games. Talk about making an impact.
Yeah, good way to start, right? First impressions. Exactly what you want to do when you come over in a trade.
Jeremy Jeffress is not closing, but he is in a late inning high leverage role. He's pitched in 9 games, has an ERA of 4. And how about Gomez, his first at bat?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of pride to swallow when you're DFA'd by an organization like the Astros.
You just wonder what went on with Carlos over in Houston. I mean, a good player here in Milwaukee. Of course, at the time of the trade, a bit of a down year. I just couldn't get it going, and yeah, you wish the best for Carlos. Good guy.
I'm sure the fact that the Rangers had Adrian Beltre there, Carlos Beltran, 2 strong Latin players that have been around the game a long time. Gomez doesn't have to go into the Rangers system and be one of the top 2 or 3 players. They already have that in place. He can really settle into a role, and that's when he can be dangerous.
Might be able to tone him down a bit too.
Jeanette strikes out.
Calm him down a bit.
Speaking of that trade, by the way, we mentioned the 2 players that came to the Brewers in that deal for Lucroy and Jeffress. Well, Brinson is at AAA. He had 2 home runs tonight. I heard David Stearns talk a little bit about his success. Big, long, strong outfielder that's playing at the AAA level. And then the 20-year-old pitcher, Luis Ortiz, at AA. And David had mentioned he hadn't given up an earned run. That's 4 starts. And a 0 ERA for Biloxi.
Yeah, Brewers did really well in these trades. It started last year. Loading up the minor league system with some very young, talented players. Brinson, a lot like Keon Broxton. Very similar build. And do a lot of things out on the field for you.
No balls and a strike on Braun. Brinson hopes to join Braun in the Brewers outfield. One thing about Brinson that David Stearns was telling us, he's not yet on the roster, so the decision will be, do you put him on now or in September for call-ups, or do you wait till the end of the season and when he has to go on in November? Because Braun shoots one to right and a base hit.
And somebody has to be taken off too. That's another consideration. Who do you do that with, right?
There's a lot more to deal with when you're not on the roster. By the way, Isan Diaz continues to put up the numbers. He's having a player of the year type season for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. This is a player that the Brewers got in the Gene Segura deal. I don't want to call him a throw-in, but he's the young unknown shortstop that came in that deal with Aaron Hill. And he's performed very well. Chase Anderson was the other part of that trade, and man, what a year he's having. Just up the road about 90 miles in Appleton.
There's some pretty talented shortstops in this system. 2 of them are here right now. You know, VR, Arcia, now you got Diaz. A lot of competition, a lot of young players that can do a lot. It's great.
Hernan Perez is a shortstop by trade. Came up through the Tigers system as a shortstop. Arcia looks like the shortstop of the future right now. That answers one of the major questions that we get a lot. Where is the pitching going to come from for the Brewers? And that's one of the reasons why the Brewers have been very disciplined in what kind of player they've been able to acquire. To third, it goes to second out there. Perez safe at first to keep the inning alive. And the second out at second base. So when you start to assemble shortstops and center fielders, you give yourself an opportunity to make trades when you do get in a position to contend. Every organization, just like the Brewers, wants those positions right now. Every organization wants that, and if you can find a match with a team that may have a pitcher that can help you, a reliever perhaps.
Can't have too many. Yeah, either bring them up or trade them and get something that you need. That's why you draft the best athlete. You don't draft based on need. At least not in the top rounds. It takes 3-4 years.
It's not as cold-blooded as it sounds either. These players, young minor league players who are roadblocked by major league talent like the Texas Rangers in their situation, they want a chance to go play elsewhere and have a chance to make it to the big leagues. So guys like Brinson, and you make these trades. Domingo Santana last year, a perfect example. That's an open door for them. It'll be fun to see who ends up with the ball club and who ends up helping the team get better. Carter takes a ball down and in. One swing of the bat could tie this one up quickly with Chris Carter at the plate. He's automatically in scoring position when he's at the plate. He lined out to center field his last time up as well. He hit it right on the nose. Perez takes off. Throw to second is a little high, and Perez is in with a steal.
He surprised you with his speed too, and a very smart base runner.
You know, for Perez, that's number 25.
He's got the numbers, but you know, I don't think teams are convinced that he's going to run as much as he has. 25 out of 29. And 6th in the National League in stolen bases.
Brewers as a team leading the league in steals. Runner at second, 2 outs. Carter on the ground, foul. Coole's been tough tonight. Started the game by retiring his first 7 batters. Brewers did have a runner at second in the 3rd. They've had 2 in scoring position tonight. Hardest hit ball of the night was an out off the bat of Carter. That line drive to center. Chris is 4 behind the home run leader in the National League, Arenado. 2-2. Lays off. Full count.
It'd be nice for Carter to get hot and then have a bit of a showdown in the final weekend of the season.
Oh, look, a real-time home run derby, you're saying?
Yeah.
I like that. I like where you're going with that.
Get hot, hit a few, get close, see what happens.
Chris Bryant would like to have something to say about that.
Right.
He is second in the league in homers with 33. Full count. Carter takes ball 4, and Perez takes third base. So Hernan running on the pitch, his second steal of the inning. And it's 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. Well, a smart base running by Perez.
He's a smart base runner. I mean, that's what we were talking about. The guy knows what he's doing. I mean, the infield doesn't even budge. They're trying to cover as much ground as they can. And you never know the way official scoring is these days. They might not even give him a stolen base on that, but did they? Yes.
Gotta be.
And it should be. Yeah, the rule is you talk to official scorers. Do they hold him on, and do they make an attempt to throw him out?
Neuenhuis with runners at the corners.
We've got a couple of situations like that this year where stolen bases weren't given in close games.
I don't like that. I think stolen bases should be given always.
A stolen base is a stolen base, right?
If you're going to not count it as a steal, and then a guy drives in the runner who stole second, then don't count it as an RBI. You wouldn't do that, would you?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, if you've got a 5-run lead going by the stolen base logic in the rule book, what does the pitcher care if he gives up 1 or 2 or 3 runs?
Cares a lot.
I know he does. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like stolen bases.
Right.
It matters.
It does matter. I agree.
We stand united in our potato sack on this one, Rock.
That's unusual, isn't it?
We wouldn't be best served though in the potato sack race together. So it's major size discrepancies.
Little one-sided.
A little off kilter.
I'd be dragging it along a little bit.
I was thinking maybe you'd be anchoring me down a little bit. I'm thinking there's the quickness and speed factor.
You should see me in the potato sack race.
Just hop along for the ride. Here's the 1-1. Neuenhuis rolls over one to first, and that will retire the side. Brewers put up a threat. They strand 2, but still trail 2-0.
Park Pirates with a 2-0 lead over the Crew. Time to check in with the Crew in the community. Earlier today, the Brewers' wives prepared bagged lunches for families residing at the Ronald McDonald House in support of their Lunch to Go program. The goal of the program is to eliminate both the worry and cost of a lunch for families while they are at the hospital with a loved one. That's a great program, B.A.
Yeah, good job by the Brewers' wives, too, getting that together and providing those lunches. Well done. 2-0 our score. Pirates have the lead. We're in the 5th inning. And it's Starling Marte who's been swinging early in counts. He leads off. Marte struck out in the first, reached on a single, an infield hit, then stole second, and then scored in the third. McCutchen with both Pirate RBIs. Quickly 0-2 on Marte. Peralta has been in trouble in every inning. He's had a lot of traffic behind him tonight. He's hoping for a clean one here. This is pitch number 88. We're only in the 5th inning.
He's done a very good job establishing inside with a fastball, as we've been talking about, but just hasn't been able to, get that slider working tonight. You can see the ball to strike ratio not very good tonight for Willie. A lot of pitches out of the zone.
Blaine Boyer starting to loosen up a little bit. Not yet on the mound. Count stays at 2-2. In Pittsburgh, when Marte hits a home run, they call it a Marte Parte. He's created quite a following there in Pittsburgh. He's been a star player for them. Won a Gold Glove last year. Bouncer to third, bobbled by VR. Now no chance.
Yeah, once you drop it, no opportunity to get him out.
That'll be an error on VR. Normally very sure-handed over there.
Couple of hops, rolls right up the glove, and If you don't field it perfectly, no chance to get Marte. Runs too well. Leadoff error. Never a good start.
Well, and now McCutchen's coming up with a man on, and you figure Marte's going to be on the move here. McCutchen 2 for 2, a home run that he yanked down the left field line, and then a single to the opposite field into right center.
Well, Scooter Gennett's still playing on the third base side of the bag, not convinced that McCutchen's going to go in that direction again. Scooter wondering where to play, and he's told to, stay where you were. That's where the scouting report tells us to play him.
And a little half swing, a strike for Peralta. Willie's been getting ahead early in this game a lot. 16 out of 21 first pitch strikes. But it's the put-away pitches.
Right. He's been getting ahead. I mean, getting ahead in the count early, but haven't been able to put him away. And then that's what's been eating up his pitch count tonight.
A lot of 0-1, 0-2 counts. Peralta could use a double play ball. McCutchen's tough to double up. He's got to hit one right at an infielder. And another check on Marte. Feels like McCutchen's been around forever. He's only 29. Made his major league debut in 09. Another check on Marte.
And he's always had good numbers against the Brewers. Not so much this year, though. Kind of mimicking against Milwaukee is what he's pretty much been doing, throughout the year. A bit of a down season, although he's been pretty good tonight. Has always been a guy that hits the ball with good exit velocity and hits the ball all over the field. In the past, he has hit some vicious line drives against Milwaukee. Good fastball hitter.
Able to check that swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. McCutchen was in the same draft as Ryan Braun. That 2005 draft produced so many great players. McCutchen went number 11 overall that year. Braun went number 5 that season. There goes Marte. Pena's throw to second on the bag. The tag is in time, and Marte is out.
Yeah, what a great throw by Manny Pena.
Marte thinks he's safe, telling his dugout that he got a hand in there. He's not leaving the bag.
This is a great throw right here, and that's pretty close. A good tag again by Scooter Gennett. Might be late, though.
Yeah, I think Marte's right. Hand got in there. Scooter, the tag went high up on the elbow. Watch the hand. Yeah, the tag went to the ground, actually.
Yeah, looks like that was a great throw, though, by Manny Pena. Not much you can do about that. About as good as you can get.
No, this is probably going to be overturned. This is the era of replay we're in. We've seen things with our high-speed replays that we've never seen in the past, and I can tell you that play right there has been an out forever until replay came along, because think about it from an umpire's perspective. This is all bang bang, and you're seeing this at speeds that the human eye can't see, but that tag on the ground to an umpire looks like a tag on the arm.
Well, clearly it looked like he beat the play. He's got the sliding mitt on. That protects the fingers when he goes into the bag head first. And the fact also that he slid to the outfield side of the bag made that tag a little bit longer.
So you be the umpire here.
That's what the umpire sees.
We put a lot of burden on those umpires, but we're seeing a game in a whole new light in the last few years.
Balking Bob Davidson out there at second base.
I saw a piece yesterday on MLB Network. Bob Davidson. It was a game in Montreal with the Dodgers and the Expos. And you remember the mascot for the Expos, Yuppie?
Yeah.
He was laying on the dugout. He was harassing Dodger players. And Bob Davidson threw him out. He threw Yuppie out.
Yeah, you can't throw a mascot out.
He threw him out of the game.
Yeah.
Bob Davidson threw out a Brewers fan here one year.
I remember. I was just going to say he did that a few years ago.
That's great. He threw Yuppie out.
Well, it's taken a while. I'm surprised it's taken this long. We saw it a number of different times. He looked safe. Maybe the Brewers get lucky here.
Well, the call on the field is out, so it has to be convincing evidence.
Yeah, there's the tag, and it looks like a little bit late, but hey, the longer it goes, the better chance you get to have an out call.
And here it comes. Safe. It's overturned. And that's 2 steals tonight for Starling Marte.
Still not sure why it took so long. It was pretty cut and dry, didn't it?
They could have asked us. We had it early. 2 minutes 34 seconds on the challenge.
Take nothing away from that throw though by Pena. It was a perfect throw.
So now McCutchen's up there with a runner at second and nobody out. And McCutchen into left. Did he get it? Braun is back. No, that'll stay in. Maybe off the end of the bat. Braun hustles it in. Marte stays put.
Body out in front. I mean, he sounded like he got on the sweet spot, got under it, but lost all his power because he was out in front of it. Probably drifted toward the baseball. That means he was fooled.
So that'll bring up Polanco now. Willie Peralta, after that McCutchen at bat, was shouting in at Pena. Not sure if it was on the last pitch or what's to come here with Polanco, but I'm not sure I've seen Peralta as engaged with the game plan with a catcher as I've seen him tonight.
Yeah. We haven't seen this before, and this is the third time that Pena has caught him here with the Brewers.
I feel like Peralta, just watching him through the years, has been a pitcher that has been good with any sign that either Lucroy in the past or Maldonado has put down. And his stuff's been so great he could get outs with whatever he had in mind. But last year was a struggle for him.
It could be a lot of different things. It might not be just a sign. It might be where he's positioning the target. It might be a lot of different things. You just don't know.
Wave and a miss. That looked like a changeup.
Yeah, something off speed, and Polanco out in front of it. That's a good pitch when you're down in the count 1-0.
Oh, hanging slider, huh?
Yeah, it was 82. Didn't throw it very hard and had him out in front.
That goes from a slider that he has thrown 87, 88 miles an hour to a slider that just spins up there at 82. Ground ball right to Arcia. He'll go to first. And Polanco is out number 2. Marte moves to third. Take you back to our Carsoup.com trivia. The only player to be named an All-Star with both the Brewers and the Pirates. Dave Parker. Oh, that's a good one. That's a trick question.
Yeah, we talked about Dave Parker a couple days ago. Remember Art of Hitting? On deck circle. He used to have the sledgehammer on the on deck circle.
Yeah, Brewers in '90.
The Cobra.
We are family pirates. Dave Parker. Might be my favorite Matt Vasgersian story of all time with Dave Parker, though.
Without a doubt. You might want to tell it.
I wasn't there, so I don't feel like I have authority to tell that story, but I know it had to do with Matt being a huge Dave Parker fan.
Growing up in Oakland.
Freeze lines out. Finish it.
More to come. More to come.
It ends with a zipper being down. Your fly's open,
pull
kid.
Up your fly, kid.
Of RBIs from Andrew McCutchen tonight. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Hey, a reminder that Saturday UFC Fight Night is live on Fox with 2 top 5 welterweights. Tune into former lightweight champion and Milwaukee native Anthony Pettis as he battles Charles Oliveira. Starts at 5 p.m. It's free on Fox. You can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. We wish Anthony the best.
Yeah.
Do Milwaukee proud. UFC on Fox this weekend. Here we go to the bottom of the fifth. Brewers coming up. It'll be Arcia to start it.
So you got to tell the story.
Well, so it's your story. I've just enjoyed it over the years.
Yeah, it was in St. Louis.
This is the Matt Vasgersian Dave Parker story.
Dave Parker is the hitting coach for the Cardinals at the time. This is back in my days with Matty. We were working together, and Matt grew up in Oakland and watching Dave Parker. And big fan. He went up to Parker. It took him a while to be able to muster the energy or the guts to get up there and talk to Parker. He just kind of tapped him on his shoulder, and Parker looks down and he says, I just wanted to tell you how much I had loved your career, and he just, I'm from Oakland, and went on, and Parker just kind of looked him up and down and said, zip up your fly, boy.
It's great. It's such a great
and you have to know how Vasgersian is. I mean, he just took that so bad. I mean, he just wilted.
That's an about face.
It just killed him. The rest of the night, he just had a bad look on his face. And yeah.
So good.
And he was looking good, too. He had a nice suit on. Yeah. He was decked out. He's all
clean shaven.
Yeah.
Within the hour as Arcia draws the walk to start the inning.
He just forgot a key component of the outfit.
Great. This is one of my favorites. Arcia leads off with a walk and a man on to start this fifth inning against Chad Kuhl, who's been good for Pittsburgh tonight.
Now, I know that Matty watches a lot of these games. I want him to be on record. I want to be on record to say I did not bring that story up, because I know he's got a few on me.
He's got a few on you. He's got a few on me. Matt and I used to get involved in some shenanigans in the Texas League back in the day. It's always a lot of fun. And look what he has become.
Yeah. Which means he's going to get the last laugh. He's got the last word.
Yes. on his network audience. True. Here's Manny Pena. He doubled his last time up. Takes a strike. We were thinking about Matt the other day with our director Mark Vittorio, a worthy challenger to a beard growing contest. I have yet to see anybody who could challenge Matt Vasgersian in that category.
Yeah, no kidding.
But we found one.
The art of hair growing.
Human chias. No water necessary. See that stubble right there for Pena? That's like an hour's growth for Matt Vasgersian and Mark Vittorio.
That's how he was born.
Cool deals inside. He's been effective inside tonight. Cool has 4 Ks. Didn't allow a walk until last inning, but he has walked 2 of his last 3 hitters at this point.
A pretty easy first inning. That got him going tonight.
The 2-1. Pena into center field. Coming in, McCutchen. There's out number 1. Chad Kuhl is from University of Delaware. Not too many big leaguers from Delaware. As you see, Jake Elmore announced as the pinch hitter. Into the night for Willie Peralta. He goes 5. 2 earned runs. Walked 3, struck out 5. Right now he's on the hook for the loss.
Could have been a lot worse. I mean, the Pirates had men in scoring position just about every inning. Minimized the damage pretty well.
Pittsburgh has stranded 6 through the first 5 innings. So it'll be Elmore to bat here, a pinch hit appearance with RC at first base.
A lot of late calls of timeout by Dale Scott. Yeah, Pirates so far tonight 1 for 10 runners in scoring position.
A symbol of some of their struggles lately, getting those key hits. There's a strike. Broken bat. Mercer's got it, steps on the bag and turns 2 to end the inning. A 6-3 double play. Inning is over. Kuhl has 5 shutout on the board.
To the 6th inning here at Miller Park, and come to the ballpark for country night this Saturday at 6 p.m. The special country night ticket package includes a Brewers trucker hat, plus all fans will enjoy a free post-game concert from country star Kip Moore, presented by 94.5 KTI Country. Go to brewers.com/theme nights.
Kip Moore is supposed to join us in the booth Saturday, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah. You got to get your questions in. You got to line that up.
Got to find out if he could hit back in the day.
Here's Jan Marinez. He'll take over for Peralta as we go to the 6th.
Pitched on Tuesday against the Rockies. Gave up a run in an inning of work. And you see the numbers for Marinez, another guy out of that bullpen that's had a good season. 360 earned run average. All about throwing strikes for Marinez, and for the most part he's been able to do that. 18 walks, 39 strikeouts for him.
Josh Bell will lead off for the Pirates. The slugging first baseman making his 3rd start of the week at first base. He's walked twice. I was talking to Keon Broxton about Bell. Keon was in the minor leagues with Bell in the Pirates system. Speaks very highly of him as a hitter. Hasn't had a position that they felt he could play in the big leagues until they made that position change, moved him from the outfield to first base.
He's got a really good eye at the plate. I mean, very patient. Already 2 walks. As the count in his favor, 2-0.
Broxton was saying he is the rare combination of a good eye but a bad ball hitter, which is a strange combo. There's a slow roller. Carter is over. He'll go to the bag. Close play. And just in time to get Bell for out number 1.
Yeah, that might be an example of what you're talking about right there. A 2-0 count, not the ideal pitch to be swinging at. That was a good sinking fastball from Marinez. Check it out on a 2-0 count. Had good downward movement on it, and Bell just beats it into the ground. And pretty close at first. And get out of the way, Jan. Got it myself.
Pirates up 2-0. Here is Cervelli now. Marinez retires the lead batter. Cervelli with a base hit his last time up. Hit a sharp single into right. Hit .295 last year for the Pirates. I don't think any experts saw that coming. Been a serviceable offensive player. Goes the other way. But not a .295 hitter.
Yeah, for what he does for you behind home plate defensively, I mean, even .273, you'd take that any day out of a good defensive catch. And one thing he doesn't do, he hadn't hit a home run yet this year, and you hate to say that as he stands there at the plate.
It's very risky on your part.
Yeah, I know.
Setting up inside. Cervelli gets jammed, and an easy pop up out to Jeanette. 2 outs. Now the Brewers have dominated the Pirates at Miller Park, even as the Pirates have been a postseason team and a contender the last 3 years.
Check this out right here. I mean, that tells all the story. That tells you all you need to know about what's going on in this series.
Brewers swept Pittsburgh in July here, the first series at Miller Park of the season. 9 in a row. Going back to 07, the Brewers are 64-17. It is one of those very strange phenomenon that has continued even as the Pirates have gotten really good into a contending status every year, and the Brewers are in rebuild mode. Go figure. Jordy Mercer 0 for 1 with a walk. Another broken bat. Boy, Marinez with a good fastball. And 3 up and 3 down. First 3 up, 3 down inning of the game for Brewer pitching. We go to the home 6th, 2-0 Pirate lead. game thus far, especially from the Pirates side, where their rookie Chad Kuhl has 5 shutout on the board. Rock, he's made it look easy so far tonight.
And basically a 2-pitch pitcher. I mean, he's locating his fastball pretty well. I could see that fastball right on the corner to get Arcia. Now he's got that good slider. He's not having a problem with that put-away pitch against Milwaukee. That was the issue, that Willie Peralta had tonight. Pitch count got him, but Kuhl's pitch count in really good shape at 61.
Making his first career appearance against the Brewers, his first start at Miller Park, the Delaware native, and only 61 pitches through 5 innings. Top of the Brewers order coming up, 3rd time through now. Jonathan Villar leading off, then Jeanette, then Braun. Brewers have 2 hits, 2 walks. Kuhl sitting on 4 strikeouts. He just got a double play to win his last inning, the 5th inning. And when he's right, he'll get a lot of ground balls, a lot of early results. This is his 8th major league start. His first was a win against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers back on June 26th.
Yeah, big guy, doesn't throw overly hard. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, a 9th rounder.
Swing and a miss. Villar strikes out. Number 5 for Kuhl in the first out of the 6th inning.
That's that slider again. And watch the late break on it. You can see not a big break, but late. You'd rather have late and short and quick than early and big. Guys can't pick it up as well. You don't need the big movement. It just has to be late.
Here's Scooter Gennett. And he pulls one foul. Thinking about players from the University of Delaware to make it to the big leagues. There's a decent list, but some names you might recognize with Brewers connections would be Kevin Mensch. Out of the University of Delaware. There's a Hall of Famer from the University of Delaware. Actually spent some time with the Pirates, Vic Willis. And I've got to find the backstory on Vic Willis because his numbers don't look Hall of Fame worthy, but they are. I mean, he's in.
What's the era?
It was late 1800s, early 1900s. He was actually on the Pirates World Series team in '09. A different statistical era back then, but he didn't have that long of a career. Vic Willis. Tom Herr was a University of Delaware player as
Cardinal?
well. Good player. Twins and Cardinals.
Yeah, Tommy Herr, one of those guys that had over 100 RBIs and single-digit home run numbers. Paul Molitor did that one year.
Bouncing ball to third. This is Freeze. Off balance throw gets Gennett for out number 2.
David Freeze not blessed with the greatest range, but he was able to get the easy hop, sidearm flip, and Scooter barely in the picture gets rid of it quickly. Not a great arm, but very quick and accurate.
Well, brings up Ryan Braun with nobody on at the plate tonight, presented by Wendy's. Single came in the 4th. His last time up, that was a single to right. It's 1 for 2. Braun with his 2 home runs yesterday, 24 for the season now. Carter leads the club with 30, then Braun. Braun is the club leader in RBIs at this point, has 74 ribbies. And you'd say, well, 100 is a long shot, but Braun has driven in 28 runs in August. Bouncing ball in the hole. Freeze is there. And that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning. And Kuhl is just that tonight through 6 shutouts.
for a little Throwback Thursday. 19 years ago yesterday, Craig Counsell took the Cardinals' Todd Stottlemyre deep for his first Major League home run, and it was a grand slam. Actually, Counsell's first 2 career home runs were grand slams. And how about this? 32 years ago, Brewer rookie Bill Schroeder was in the midst of one of his hottest hitting streaks ever. A stretch with 5 home runs in 5 games, 3 of those coming against the Texas Rangers. Now that's a real Throwback Thursday there.
I like that, Telly. I'm in on Throwback Thursday. Anytime we get the Bill Schroeder mullet up on the television, I'm in.
The mullet you're talking about, not the homers?
Oh, I didn't see the home runs. I'm sorry.
See?
You're looking good, man, flying around the bases like that, hitting bombs. Was that Tom Candiotti, by the way?
That was a
shaking your hand?
Yeah, it was a candy man right there, yep.
You almost shined him right here for a second.
I think he said something kind of derogatory to me, I think.
Chad Kuhl leads off, the Pirate pitcher.
So you only know part of this story.
Slow roller, Marinez barehands it, fires to first, just like he practiced 5 hours ago. Brewers pitchers had a little fielding practice today, and Marinez was a part of that. And he makes it look easy. He's retired 4 in a row.
Of course, not that high speed in PFP. You just kind of take it easy and somewhat go through the motions, and a bullet over to Carter. This guy's got some kind of arm. Look at that. Flat-footed and sidearm, and threw a rocket over to first.
Your playing career came up earlier today. Our buddy Kent Sommerfeld, the Brewers radio engineer, produced a 1979 newspaper. It was a Brewers publication, and you were featured in it as a prospect.
Right. Rookie ball.
The picture was from your Cape Cod MVP League picture. Your MVP of the Cape Cod League that year. Wasn't the greatest picture, but anyway, you had some great numbers there. You had like 15 home runs in 30 games.
What was the matter with the picture?
It was a little tired looking picture. I didn't feel like your heart was in it when the photographer asked if.
You know what it looked like to me? I was kind of goofing around a little bit with the batting stance, trying to look like the Babe.
Maybe so. Harrison flies to left.
It's kind of the way the stance looked, didn't it?
It did. You know what it did?
I didn't know it was going to, make a Brewers publication, and would have taken it a little bit more seriously.
You know, I'll have to snap a photo of this picture so we can get it on the air. But from the feet down, from the feet up, your sanitary socks were drooping. You had stirrups on. Your pants didn't fit quite right. You're standing there in a really weird angle, like the Babe would, I guess. Now that does make sense.
Anything else you want to add?
You didn't look like the Cape Cod League MVP in that picture. So just remember that, Rock. When you're out there and you're offering these photos, you gotta.
Actually, I think that picture was taken when I was in rookie ball.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, that was in Butte, and that was the best you can look in rookie ball.
Here's a pop-up. Starling Marte out to Arcia, and that's a nice inning. How about that effort by Marinez? 6 up, 6 down. 2 scoreless in the books. caught up here as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Our game summary: Andrew McCutchen with a first-inning homer. That came with 2 outs. Put the Pirates on the board. And then McCutchen again with a shift on. Beat the shift. A base hit to right. Scored Marte. 2-0 Pittsburgh. And rookie Chad Kuhl has been the headline so far tonight. He has 6 shutout innings on the board. Kuhl with 5 strikeouts thus far. He's walked 2. And he has held the Brewers to just 2 hits. That was a single by Braun in the 4th. A double by Pena in the 3rd. That's been it. He's back out there to start the 7th inning. Middle of the Brewers order coming up: Perez, Carter, and Neuenhuis. First of 4 against the Pirates here at Miller Park. Brewers trying to extend their winning streak here against Pittsburgh to 10 in a row.
They're still in it, although it doesn't really seem like it. That's how good Kuhl's been. But the Brewers pitching staff has been able to, bend but not break tonight. Pitch count for Kuhl in great shape.
This will be pitch number 76 as he works in the 7th inning. He has not had a start in the major leagues to go 7 innings as Perez grounds to 3rd and out number 1. Chris Carter will step in with the bases empty. Carter with 30 homers, and when he hits them, they go about as far as anybody in the big leagues. So Carter's average on his distance for home runs is nearly 412 feet. The top 2 are Colorado Rockies, Carlos Gonzalez, and the rookie shortstop Trevor Story.
I guess the surprise on that list is Story, but the other guys on that list, you would figure Stanton, Piscotty's got incredible power. Chris Carter. Colorado helps in that regard.
Carter has great power opposite field. A lot of those home runs coming to center field and right center. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a walk. 2 good at bats for him. 2 good plate appearances. And he whistles that one into left. A base hit. That's going to go to the wall. Carter's on his way to 2nd. Throw comes in from Marte. And Carter is in there with a 1-out double.
Yeah, Brewers haven't been able to elevate too many pitches from Kuhl tonight. Carter able to get the line drive over the head of Freese. Kuhl's only allowed 2 fly ball outs tonight. That's how good he's been. His slider kind of just hung there, flattened out a bit, and Carter able to hook it down the line. He doesn't pull many, but that time able to whistle one down the left field line.
Hit the ball hard twice tonight. A line out and now a double. And that's going to bring a visit from the Pirate pitching coach. Ray Searage is on his way out, a former Brewer. Searage was with the Brewers in those Bill Schroeder mullet years. Yeah. 84, 85, 86.
There are 4 former Brewer pitchers that are pitching coaches in the big leagues right now.
Ooh, that's a good trivia question.
Juan Nieves, Bob McClure, Chris Bosio, and Searage.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Searage has drawn rave reviews for being able to turn pitchers' careers around, injured pitchers. Had great success there with a lot of guys.
Yeah, and playing with him, on the same team, you never know he'd end up being a pitching coach. He was a jokester. He was a prankster. Always had a good time.
That lefty down there, Felipe Rivero. And that ball's deep. Neuenhuis has tied it up. First pitch after the visit to the mound, and Neuenhuis sends one deep into the bleachers in right field. A 2-run shot. We're all tied at 2.
I guarantee Ray Searage didn't say throw one down the middle. And that's exactly where that was. That was almost crosshairs right down the middle of the plate. And the success for Neuenhuis here at Miller Park continues. Check this out. That was a slider, center cut, out of here. And he knew it. Little flip, and we're all tied up just like that.
Neuenhuis with his 12th homer of the year. That is his 10th at Miller Park. Just like that. Double and a home run. And it's all square again. Arcia batting with one away now, with Pena to follow, the catcher. Arcia lines one, base hit. That's going to get down into the corner. And the speedy Arcia on his way to second. It's another double. 3 straight hits for Milwaukee.
Yeah, you got to believe it's pretty close to the end of the line for Cool. They've got activity in that bullpen. Rivero's loose. Here comes Clint Hurdle. Boy, as good as he was, there's a 3-batter stretch here in the 7th that could very well cost him the game. That's all it takes at this level. 3rd time through, Brewers able to get on the board, do some damage.
End of the line for Chad Kuhl as the rookie Arcia gets one inside and drills it down into the corner and left. Just past David Freese. Kuhl is out. Runner at second, his responsibility. In comes Rivera. Will set him up after this. Shaking his head on the mound. He was brilliant through the first 6 innings. Got one out in the 7th to start the frame, then 3 straight hits, and just like that he's out. 6 1/3, 2 runs allowed. Still a runner at second. That is his responsibility. And Arcia and Rocket will be the left-hander. Felipe Rivero out of Clint Hurdle's bullpen.
Yeah, those are his numbers between the Pirates and the Nationals. It was a trading deadline deal with Mark Melanson that brought Rivera to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Last time out was on Wednesday, a scoreless inning against Houston.
Manny Pena offering at the first one, a swing and a miss.
Hard throwing left-hander. Didn't allow a run in his first 9 appearances with the Pirates, with a bunch of strikeouts.
Two-two game. 2-run homer. Neuenhuis has tied it. Pena takes a strike. 96 with a fastball in there.
Kind of an easy delivery too. Kind of short arms a little bit, which makes it difficult to pick up for the hitter.
Arcia ready to run at second, and Pena, did he go? He did not. 1-2.
Big slider to go with that big heater. Let's see, does he hold up? It's off the plate. Yep.
Manny has a double tonight. That was back in the 3rd. That was the first hit for the Brewers.
Well, Arcia's got a huge lead out there at second base. I thought he was going to take off. Josh Harrison playing up the middle, but he didn't budge. Didn't do anything to hold him close. Now he is.
And a pickoff move.
I think everybody saw that big lead by Arcia the pitch before. Got everybody's attention.
Arcia has 3 steals, has not been caught. Been a base stealer through his minor league career. And Pena swings and misses. Down he goes. Strikeout. First batter face for Felipe Rivero.
Got him on the slider. Yeah, first 2 pitches fastballs. Actually changeup. Hey, he throws a changeup too. Good pitch.
2 outs now. And Craig Counsell is going to go to his bench. Domingo Santana will bat for the first time. Terrific work by Jan Marinez. 2 scoreless, 6 up, 6 down out of the Brewers bullpen.
Hey, we highlighted the back end of the bullpen on the pregame show today, Brewers Live, talking about the pen, particularly the winning scenario out of the bullpen, but Marinez has done a good job.
Santana had a healthy cut. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's where he likes him, right there, middle in.
Domingo on the DL twice. First time with a shoulder injury. Came back. He was back just 4 days and then went right back on the DL with an elbow problem. Brewers got him in the Carlos Gomez deal last year. If you weren't with us earlier, Carlos Gomez has homered in his first Rangers game, in his first at bat, as a matter of fact. Hit a 3-run homer. Texas playing Cleveland tonight. Two balls and a strike. That one missed. Looked like that changeup again.
He's thrown back-to-back changeups.
Top of the order, and Jonathan Villar due next. Santana would love to give him a shot here in this 7th inning. 2-2 game. Here's the pitch, and Santana takes a called strike. 3-2.
Do it again, 3 in a row. Didn't want to give him a fastball on a 3-1 count, and catches the outside corner with a changeup.
Full count. 2 outs. Santana takes ball 4. Good eye at the plate, draws the walk, turns the lineup over. And here comes the Brewers leadoff man, Jonathan Villar.
That pitch looked like it had the outside corner, but Cervelli was set up inside. Had to reach all the way across the plate and did not get the call because of that. Look at the catcher. Look where the pitch is. And yep, number 6 is on the corner.
Yeah, the way he caught it, huh? Influenced the call of the umpire.
The fact that he had to reach, across the plate all 17 inches. You're not going to get it.
2 on, 2 out. Villar, the switch hitter. Big swing and a miss. Jonathan's having one of those nights tonight, coming up empty a lot. First 3 at bats as the left-handed hitter. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. He's probably glad to be on the other side right now. And a little jam shot out to Harrison, and that will retire the side. But the Brewers down 2-0 when the inning started. Got a double from Carter and a 2-run game-tying homer from Kurt Neuenhuis. Brand new ball game at Miller Park as we go to the 8th. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers. It's Miller time.
Well, all tied up as we head to the 8th inning, and tonight's time of the game winner, the Airport Lounge in Black River Falls, if they call the Brewers. By 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
New pitcher in for the 8th inning is Corey Knebel. 2-2 game here, and Knebel, who has emerged as the setup man for Tyler Thornburg, will have Andrew McCutchen to start the inning. McCutchen, Polanco, Freeze coming up.
Yeah, coming off his first major league save against the Rockies. That was on Tuesday. A scoreless 9th inning. Tyler Thornburg had worked quite a bit, so Knebel got the chance. Has been very good since his recall. A 1.93 ERA in 14 games.
That was a milestone night for a couple of Brewers. Knebel earned his first big league save, and Brent Suter earned his first major league win that night. Pitching out of the bullpen, Suter. Hard throwing Knebel. He's got a big curveball too. Basically a 2-pitch pitcher.
Just threw that last fastball at 97.
Pena sets up outside. And McCutchen takes right on a dime. He put it right where Pena set up, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, first one inside, second one away. And not much you can do with either one of those. Big velocity, pretty straight, right on the corner.
See what he does with him. 1-2. That curveball misses. That's the key for Knebel when he's throwing that one for strikes, or at least throwing it where he wants it.
I think with a 1-2 count, that's exactly where he wanted it.
McCutchen has long been one of the great fastball hitters in the game. High velocity. And he takes that one for a ball. Wow. I think McCutchen thought he was rung up.
Those pitches haven't been called. That might have been just barely off the inside corner. Yeah, not by much.
McCutchen was ready to do it about face. So it's 3-2 now. 2-2 game here in Milwaukee after the Neuenhuis 2-run homer. Bouncing ball, big chopper. Villar's got the nice easy hop, and he makes the play for the out.
Hey, MLB TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for details.
One away. Here is Gregory Polanco. 0 for 3 tonight. A strikeout in the first. A couple of ground outs on his line as well. Willie Peralta started. He went 5. High pitch count in 5 innings, but minimized damage, only giving up 2 runs. And Jan Marinez came on and retired 6 up, 6 down in his 2 scoreless innings. He was lights out. There's a strike to Polanco. Knebel had a couple of saves earlier in the year with Colorado Springs. He'd been in a closer's role before, but the other night against the Rockies was his first big league chance at a save in the 9th inning, a traditional save opportunity, and he nailed it down with ease. And because of that, it's given Tyler Thornburg 2 full days off now, with the Brewers winning 7-1 yesterday, not needing Thornburg.
The bullpen's been real good even after the trades at the trading deadline at the end of July. Will Smith, Jeremy Jeffress traded away. The bullpen's still a strong part of this ball club.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2 now. Polanco with 19 homers. He's a dangerous bat. His career high was 9 last year. Just over 100 games. He's hit 19 already. On the ground, another chopper. Carter backs up. Knebel's there for him. And out number 2. Because the fans have demanded it, Rock, we feel we must show you the picture we're talking about. That was your Babe Ruth stance, huh?
Yeah, just messing around.
So that's what we dug up today. You got the sweet stirrups going, and
that's the Butte Copper Kings uniform right there.
Got a glove in each pocket.
Yep. One thing you don't know about those cleats right there, I got those off a buddy of mine when I left Clemson to go to rookie ball. They were white. I spray painted them. I went to the hardware store. I got some blue spray paint. I spray painted them. And in both cleats, by the end of the rookie ball season, both of the front cleats were gone.
I mean, that's Tales from Rookie Ball by Bill Schroeder.
Welcome to rookie ball.
I feel another book coming.
You know, you go into the clubhouse here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, shoes everywhere.
I mean, do they need 15 pairs of shoes? How about rookie ball? How about a little love down there?
Oh, my goodness. You spray painted them.
Spray painted them. You know, and the other part of the story is I never paid the guy for the shoes. I went back to Clemson for a baseball reunion about 5 years ago. I gave him $50.
Wow, inflation.
Yeah. I said, I can't in good conscience not pay you this money. He said, don't worry about it. I said, take the money. I've been feeling bad about it. At the time, he really could use the money. Not now.
I'm shocked you wore the same pair of shoes the whole season. They were spray painted.
It's a half season.
0-2 pitch. Wow. Buzz bomb in there. Did Freese go? They'll ask. He did not. I feel another book coming.
You know the salary in rookie ball? You know what it was?
What was it?
I brought home $197 every 2 weeks. You think I could afford cleats?
Oh, my goodness. As Knebel buzzes the tower of David Freese.
Up and in. Keep him honest. He likes the ball away. Good opposite field hitter.
1-2. They went back to the fastball. Freese is late.
Think about the cleats, though. They kept chipping away. I had to keep
spray painting them.
They got a little heavy.
They probably weighed 20 pounds by the end of the
heavy.
year.
See, look at those. They're sweet. I'd have loved to have those back in Butte.
Back in Butte. There's the title right there.
Yeah.
Back in Butte. Nothing better than big league shoes. Fresh pair every night if you want.
Yeah.
The 1-2 and a swing and a miss. Actually a tip into the mitt of Pena. He held on, and a strikeout for Knebel. Impressive inning for Corey Knebel. 3 up, 3 down with a K. Goes through the heart of the Pirates batting order. Keeps it at 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Corey Knebel. Also, Martinez doing a nice job with 2 innings from the bullpen so far, so that's 3 total. But how about Neuenhuis's home run, boy? What a blast right over our heads here in the 7th inning to tie.
Yeah, it was. Boy, what a timely hitting, too. But once again, here's a guy that loves hitting at Miller Park, but he got a nice pitch to hit and drove it.
All right, it's a 2-2 game, though. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's see if the Brewers can wrap things up here. We've got Brewers Live postgame on the way. We're going to hear from Craig Counsell and the crew, get you set for Game 2 of this 4-game series and see if Milwaukee can get their 10th straight win against the Pirates here in this ballpark. Wow, they've dominated this series for years, guys.
All right, Craig, thanks. That old adage still holds true for Davey Nelson. If you're going to hit one over his head, it's got to be a home run.
Yeah, no kidding.
And another one flies into the seats, as you see the former Texas Ranger closer Neftali Feliz, and he'll have the bottom of the 8th in this 2-2 game.
Yep, he does have 1 save this year, a .310 earned run average.
Scooter Gennett starts it on the first pitch. He fouls it back.
Hey,
Gennett, Braun, and Perez coming up.
That bullpen work for both teams has been very good. You know, the Brewers have retired 12 straight. 12 straight Pirate hitters have gone down.
Now Martinez 2 scoreless. Knebel comes in, retires the side in order in the 8th with a strikeout. Keeps the Pirates at 2. Now the Brewers with a chance to grab the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Into foul territory. Freese will give it a look, and it is just out of his reach. Good effort by the Pirate third baseman. He hit a very famous home run off Neftali Feliz in the World Series. And now he's his teammate. I wonder if they ever talk about that.
Oh yeah, I would bet that's come up once or twice. Although I would imagine David Freese not the guy that brings it up.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. Feliz strikes out Gennett. That's how the inning starts. And here comes Ryan Braun. He's on the Powerball home run leaderboard. He's gaining on Chris Carter. Carter leads away with 30. Braun with 2 yesterday has 24. Neuenhuis just hit number 12.
And that could play big in this inning. The Brewers have their guys up middle of the order. Feliz has given up 9 home runs out of the bullpen. A fair amount of homers.
Ryan Braun has faced him once. Has a home run off of Feliz. His only at bat.
Don't remember Feliz throwing this hard earlier in the year.
He's getting his arm strength back, coming off surgery 2 years ago. He's got Braun 0-2. Ryan is 1 for 3 tonight. Had a single to right field in the 4th inning. Both starters are out. This one will belong to the bullpens. A little Louis Tiant action here.
And trying to turn, just disrupt the timing of Braun, but not even close.
Does it again, and Braun late fouls it away.
Hung a slider. Brony had a good one to hit. Just trying to give him a different look.
Very similar to what you see Johnny Cueto do with nobody on base. Cueto's got 3 or 4 variations of that, though.
And arm angles. Yeah. Anything to disrupt the timing.
One and two. Braun hanging tough. 2-2 game in the 8th. And a wave and a miss. Phillies strikes him out. Back-to-back Ks to start this 8th inning.
Well, fastballs and sliders from Phillies. This one off the plate. You don't see Braun chase out of the zone like this very often. Not even close. Very difficult to pick up rotation, arm angles from Phillies. He gives you a lot of different looks. We've seen him tonight. And he can even make the best of hitters look bad.
Former Rookie of the Year, Neftali Feliz. He was a terrific reliever for the Rangers during their 2 World Series years. Had 40 saves in his All-Star season, the year he was the Rookie of the Year. Came back with 32 saves the next year, 2011. That's when he ran into David Freese and the Cardinals in the World Series. And then the Rangers tried to make him a starter. And then had some arm problems that required surgery. Missed most of the 2013 season. Came back in 14. Ended up with the Tigers last year. Signed a deal with the Pirates to pitch out of their bullpen. And was emerging so well that the Pirates felt like they probably needed a starter more than they needed their lockdown closer, Melanson. So they were able to get Ivan Nova. And they were able to deal Melanson for prospects to the Nationals. First glance, it was looking a bit like a white flag for the Pirates on the season, but that wasn't the case. They felt like they just needed to deal from a position of strength. If they were going to make a run, they were going to have to make a run with starting pitching. And so that's what they did, and they felt confident in Feliz and Tony Watson at the end of the game. Fastball right by Perez. It's 3-2.
Yeah, Perez swung 3-0. Man, looking to drive one out of the ballpark. But Feliz got 2 fastballs by him. That last one, 98.
Full count, 2 outs. Got him. Neftali Feliz strikes out the side. Strong 8th inning for Feliz. And the Brewers go quietly in the 8th inning. Sends us to the 9th, all tied at 2. Kirk Neuenhuis has tied this thing up at 2 with a 2-run home run in the 7th. And our broadcast tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Roof is open. It's a gorgeous night for baseball, and we've got a terrific game going tonight. 2-2 as we go to the 9th. It'll be Tyler Thornburg, the closer, to try to get this one to the bottom of the ninth, all tied.
Well, he's had a couple of days off. Last pitched on Monday against the Rockies. Picked up save number 5 with a perfect inning with a couple of strikeouts. Tyler Thornburg, over his last 21 appearances, has allowed 1 earned run.
Facing rookie Josh Bell, who's 0 for 1 with 2 walks tonight. Thornburg has earned his way to that closer's role. It's a role he has not had in the major leagues until this season. Big swing and a miss, put a fastball by him. Hitters will tell you that Thornburg's fastball is hard to pick up out of the hand. He makes the big turn, kind of wraps it behind his head a little bit, and it's hard to find it.
Drops the hand down, and his back really disguises the baseball. You can't see his arm at all until right at the last minute, and then he throws over the top. He has that good backspin, good finish on his pitches.
He's a terrific athlete, was a center fielder in college. And when he first broke onto the scene, the comparisons with Tim Lincecum were close. Lincecum a lot more flexible with a lot more dip, but very similar in style, with the arm straight down and then up by the ear before he lets go. And hitters will tell you they just don't see it well.
Yeah.
2-2. Went upstairs with it, missed.
You don't see it well, and he throws hard. Only 94 with that last one, but he can touch 96, 7.
He's always had a good changeup. And he misses with it. So that's the 3rd walk of the night for the Pirate rookie Bell. And a lead man on in the 9th inning. Don't forget, tomorrow we're back at it with Ryan Vogelsong and Matt Garza. Miller Lite, what's on tap? Airtime is 6:30. First pitch at 7:10. Garza will get the ball against the veteran Vogelsong.
Got roughed up against the Mariners his last time out. That was on Sunday. 3 2/3, 6 runs. Brewers came back to win, though.
See Adam Frazier pinch running for Bell. Here's Francisco Cervelli. That walk by Bell, by the way, the first base runner for the Pirates since the 5th inning. And he has 3 of them tonight. He's telling you, or showing his teammates, what we were just talking about with Thornburg. In the air to center. Neuenhuis will settle under it. And he's got it for the first out.
Just got that one up enough to get Cervelli underneath on a 1-0 pitch. Well, fastball, good curveball, changeup for Thornburg. Doesn't walk many. Kind of unusual for him to walk a leadoff batter.
Jordy Mercer now with 1 away. Mercer has walked tonight, back in the 2nd, 0 for 2. And a bad knee injury last year. That was right here at Miller Park. Carlos Gomez took him out at second base. Say the runner at first, Frazier, looks like he wants to run. Nick Leiva's over there, the first base coach, former Brewer coach.
Yep, and you can run on Thornburg. He takes a while to get rid of it. Once in a while he'll give you a slide step, but not too often.
A strike, 1-1 the count. Well, hitters at the plate with a base stealer at first will usually give a couple of pitches to give him a chance to run, but all bets are off right now for Jordy Mercer.
Man, he was creeping off the bag, trying to get a little bit extra, an early jump. Tyler held on to that baseball just long enough for Frazier to, as he was bouncing towards second, to have to go back. Right there, that's why he stayed put.
Hey, you heard somebody shout out, that's a balk. He's trying to rattle Thornburg. Thornburg has a very quick move to first, though. That's one way he can combat stolen bases.
Yep, quick feet. Not a very big lead, I will say that. I mean, he's not getting much off the bag.
On the ground, chance to turn it. Jeanette, Arcia, double play. Thornburg wipes out the leadoff walk. The Brewers go 4-6-3. Room service double play. And now they're all set up. Thornburg holds serve, keeps the Pirates at 2. And here we go to the bottom of the 9th. Chris Carter will lead off. Brewers tied it with a Kirk Neuenhuis home run in the 7th inning. And now Chris Carter will lead off. David Freese moves from third to first. And the pinch runner Frazier is going to stay in to play third base. Remember, he pinch ran for Josh Bell, who was the original first baseman. And Rocket's going to be Antonio Bastardo, the left-hander, who will get the ball in a 2-2 game in the 9th.
Yeah, he's been pretty good on the road this year. 26 appearances, he's given up all of 9 earned runs. Yeah, last pitched on Sunday afternoon against the Miami Marlins. Retired all 3 batters that he's faced. Numbers overall, a .444 earned run average, almost as many strikeouts as innings pitched. He has given up 9 home runs.
Chris Carter's had a good night at the plate. Carter with a double. Started that rally in the 7th inning. He's lined out tonight and he's walked. That double for Carter in the 7th extended a streak for Carter. He's reached base safely now in 18 consecutive games. He's got his batting average up to .224. And that's a pretty respectable number, considering most felt Carter would not be a player that could hit over 200. Hit a lot of home runs, but would hover around the 200 mark with a lot of strikeouts. And Bastardo punches him out. Fastball got him. Out number one.
4 straight strikeouts for Pirates pitching. Yeah, second time that Bastardo has been with the Pirates in his career. And that high fastball right on the outside corner.
Well, Neuenhuis was scheduled to hit, and with the lefty-lefty matchup, Counsell is going to make a move here with Keon Broxton. Boy, wouldn't this be something for Broxton if he could hit one out against his old team, the team that traded him away. He'll get a chance to do some damage here. Keon Broxton pinch hitting, 9th inning in a 2-2 game. I was talking to Keon at the batting cage before the game, and he said his mom, Angela, who's a nurse back in Florida, she watches all the games, but she's getting to the point where she cannot watch Keon's at-bats anymore. She thinks she's jinxing them in the wrong way, so let's hope Angela's not watching right now. There's a strike, 1-1 to count.
Well, the starter's all over that outside corner, not really flirting with that inside corner. Tough to hit him out when you put him on the outside corner. Coming in though.
Yeah, coming inside. Cervelli in there. The 1-1. Broxton takes.
Slider.
Well, month by month, Broxton just keeps getting better and better. Maybe it's because his mother's stopped watching his at-bats. She might be on to something there.
Yeah, well, either that or increased playing time.
As a pinch hitter, Broxton is 2 for 7, and both of his hits are homers. 2-1 to count. There's a drive to right. That ball's well hit. Is it fair or foul? It goes foul. He sliced it just off the wall. That had home run distance. A bullet down the right field line by Broxton.
Wow. Yeah, but started game one right on the corner, but this time it was up a little bit. Gave it a good ride. Look at it, up, out away from him, and Broxton goes right with it, just not able to keep it fair. Nice swing.
Bangs off that sidewall. Not a lot of room down foul territory there. That is a short porch in right field. 2-2 the count now. Cervelli sets up back outside. Ooh, just missed. Close pitch. Broxton takes ball 3. Didn't miss by much.
Yeah, those borderline pitches have not been called all night. So Dale Scott has been consistent. There you see it. Could have been called.
Payoff coming from Bastardo. Broxton spoils it foul. Now the line drive foul. The close call. Broxton thought he might have hit one out. That close. Certainly had the heat on it. 3-2. Cervelli wants a fastball. Bastardo deals, and it's ball 4. Keon draws the walk.
Yeah, great speed on first base. You know he's going to try and steal. The only question is, with the left-hander out there, is he going to be able to get a jump?
Terrific at bat. Broxton earns a pinch hit walk and carries the winning run. Broxton is an excellent runner. 17 out of 18 this year. He's got Arcia at the plate. Rookie looking for his first big Brewer moment. The Brewers have only had one walk-off this year. That was against the Cardinals in early July. Another check on Broxton.
Got one of those moves where he kind of just hangs that leg up there and waits for the base runner at first to commit himself. Everybody knows Broxton's going to want to steal here.
Castardo paying a lot of attention to him. Long pause on the mound. Arcia at the plate. And he had designs on doing some damage on that first pitch. Big swing. Pirates outfielders in their normal positions out there. Anything down a line or in a gap, Broxton would have a great chance to score. Arcia, good swing, fouls it back. He was trying to shoot one to right.
Good one to hit right there down the middle. And giving Arcia a lot of room down that left field line.
Arcia was mired in a 2 for 34 slump at the plate before he had a pinch hit double as part of a comeback against the Rockies on Tuesday night. And he was 2 for 3 yesterday. He's down 0-2. One man out in the ninth. Got him. A strikeout. Out number 2.
Nice stay with the fastball against Arcia. This one outer half up a little bit. That's pretty good velocity right there from Castardo. He's throwing the ball pretty well.
Arcia had the right idea, trying to drive it to the opposite field. He just couldn't get on top of that fastball. 2 men are out now. Here is Manny Pena. Broxton carries the winning run. Castardo will check on him. The last 6 outs have been via the strikeout for Pirate pitchers. There's been a couple of walks mixed in there. Fielders have not been necessary since Pena's last at bat in the 7th. There goes Broxton. Throw to second base is late.
Not even close.
Broxton steals second, and now the winning run is in scoring position.
No contest whatsoever. Wow, what a jump.
18 out of 19 this year for the speedy Broxton.
Goes on the first move, and that is not even a contest right there. So base hit wins the game for Milwaukee, you would think.
Broxton will be off at the crack of the bat with 2 outs.
Well, the Pirates outfield just came in quite a bit. They're really shallow out there.
And all 3 throw the ball well. Very strong arms in right field and left field. No balls and a strike on Pena. Started with a long pause, and now Pena asked for and is granted time.
The scouting report is that Broxton will steal third base, so he's kind of freezing him out there and want to make sure he stays at second.
Big spot for Manny Pena. 0-1. 0-2 the count. Something about that fastball from Bastardo.
Yeah, huh? 92 miles an hour. He's putting it in a pretty good spot. I mean, he's not throwing him down the middle. Everything on the outside corner.
0-2 the count. This is low. Pena hit his first major league home run earlier this season for the Brewers. That was earlier in the month, August 12th against the Reds. He's got some pop. He was having a great year in AAA at the time of his call up. Replaced Jonathan Lucroy on the roster. He was hitting .329 in AAA. 1-2 the count. Broxton's got a huge lead at second, and Pena fouls it away. Pena got a little big league time with the Royals. Just 5 games. This is the most he's ever played. Best opportunity he's ever had in the majors. Got a chance to win a game right here, and he calls time again.
And the starter just really zoned in on Broxton out there at second base. Harrison really not jockeying him back. He's letting him get as far off as he wants, which I'm not quite sure about. Harrison, the second baseman, just standing there.
Outfielders creeping in. 1-2 pitch. Way inside. Almost hit him. 2-2 now.
I mean, if they're going to give you a lead like that, just take it. And just go, take off. And you see that slider again, down and in. The only thing that the starter's thrown inside is the breaking ball. Everything else, the fastball has been away.
Pena's looking for one mistake. Brewers tied it in the 7th. Chance to win it right here. 2-2 count. 2 outs. And Pena in the air, right center, playable. McCutchen calls, and that is the inning. And we go to extra innings. 2-2 game. Bastardo holds serve. Extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Well, we go to the 10th inning. The Pirates and the Brewers all tied at 2, courtesy of a Kurt Neuenhuis 2-run homer on the first pitch he saw in the 7th inning, and he launched one out of here. Starter Chad Kuhl was rolling along until that point. And Kuhl giving up that 2-run shot to even it up. Both starters out of the game. No decision for those two, Peralta and Kuhl. And Broxton will remain in the game to play center. And Rock, it'll be Carlos Torres on to pitch the 10th.
Yeah, both bullpens have been dynamite here tonight. And Carlos Torres in game number 57. He leads the Brewers in appearances out of the bullpen. A 281 earned run average. Terrific numbers for Torres. That's pitched on Tuesday against the Rockies, a scoreless inning. That's gone 5 consecutive scoreless appearances.
John Jaso pinch hitting for the Pirates. He's batting in the 9th spot in the order. Pirates bullpen has been impressive. Have the left-hander Rivero, who got out of the 7th with the game still tied, and then Neftali Feliz struck out the side in the 8th. Antonio Bastardo a scoreless 9th with 2 strikeouts. And again stranding the potential winning run at second.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle using a lot of his left-handers against the Brewers out of the bullpen. They've got 4. They've already used 2.
Jaso breaks his bat, but a base hit. Muscles one into left field.
And now the top of the order coming up. Not a good start. That's that cut fastball from Carlos Torres. Got in on his hands, but nice inside out stroke by Jaso. Dumps it into left.
Yeah, with the shift on.
Not much you can do about that.
In a normal defensive setup, that's a routine out for a shortstop. But most of his outs are on the ground to the right side, which is why the Brewers put him there.
First hit for the Pirates since the 4th inning.
Harrison shows bunt, gets it down. Pena hustles it over to first. Close play. Jeanette made that catch on the wrong side of the line. Successful sacrifice bunt for Harrison. Jaso into scoring position.
Good technique by Harrison, able to bunt it down the first base line, and kind of a dangerous throw right there. Not much you can do about that, but Jeanette there to get the out.
So it is Torres who will have to pitch with the potential go-ahead run on. Here's Starling Marte, all-star left fielder for the Pirates. And that one's on the ground. Ranging over is Arcia. Throw to first is in time.
Boy, everything is just speeded up so much with Marte getting down the line.
Smooth as silk. Arcia ranging over. Check out where he starts. Knows he has to get rid of it quickly.
That's the thing. I mean, speed puts the pressure on the defense, and everybody knows they have to be quicker. That's when mistakes happen.
Jaso ends up at third, 2 outs in the inning. And here is McCutchen, who's driven in both of the Pirates' runs today. And there's a base hit. And the Pirates take the lead. McCutchen wasting no time. A single into right. And it's 3-2 Pittsburgh. McCutchen has all 3 RBIs today.
Yeah, carbon copy of his base hit in the 3rd inning that drove in a run. Same exact spot. Cutter again by Torres. Fastball up out over the plate, and McCutchen drives it hard out into center field.
Yeah, the shifts have hurt the Brewers today. Twice McCutchen has beaten the shift with base hits to right. Jaso gets the lead single. Comes all the way around to score the run. Pittsburgh on top 3-2. Here's Gregory Polanco now. Both of these teams are very familiar with extra inning games this year. For the Brewers, this is their 9th extra inning game, and for the Pirates, this is number 10.
The Atlanta Braves have had 19 extra inning games this year.
That's incredible.
You see that?
The Brewers had one against Atlanta. Pittsburgh's actually played well in extra inning games, especially on the road. They are 4-1 in extra inning games away from PNC. And the Brewers on the wrong end of that stat as well. They have not won a game at Miller Park in extra innings. 0-4 thus far. Ball and a strike on Polanco. Bouncing ball, foul. 1-2 now.
It's amazing. You show up at the ballpark and all the Pirate guys are talking about is what a disappointing season McCutcheon's had. Hasn't been able to come up with the big hits. Well, he's done that tonight. The old nemesis for the Brewers, Andrew McCutcheon.
Home run in the first, RBI single in the third, RBI single here in the 10th. 1-2 pitch. Jeanette will gobble it up, and the side is retired. But the Pirates score, and a former MVP is playing like one tonight. Brewers down a run. We go to the bottom of the 10th inning. Driven in all three Pirates runs. He just drove in a run with 2 outs to give the Pirates a lead in the 10th inning. David Freese goes back to third base. He was at first base for an inning, but goes back over to third because Sean Rodriguez is in at first base as Clint Hurdle tightens up his defense. And Hurdle will have his closer on the mound in the bottom of the 10th. Tony Watson, the hard-throwing lefty.
Yeah, taking over from Mark Melanson, who got traded. So Watson's been the closer at 272 earned run average. You got those 44 strikeouts and 53 innings of work. And look at the opponent batting average, only 203. His last save came way back on August 17th at San Francisco. So it's been a while for the Pirates. They have not won many games.
Martin Maldonado will lead off. Maldonado pinch hitting. And Watson's first offering. A strike in there at 92.
Yeah, Craig Counsell has now emptied his bench.
Maldonado hitting in the 9th spot and getting to the top of the order next. And won't need any pinch hitters in that group. VR waits to hit next, then Jeanette. If anybody gets on, it would be Ryan Braun. Down a run in the 10th. Tony Watson delivers, and a ground ball to Rodriguez. There's out number 1. This Pittsburgh bullpen has been impressive. A lot of velocity coming out of there.
Yeah.
Brewers have just 2 base runners against their bullpen tonight, both walks. A ton of strikeouts as well. 6 strikeouts, as a matter of fact, in the 2 1/3 leading up to this inning. Watson was setting up for Melanson. They traded Melanson to the Nationals, and Watson gets the closer's role.
Well, if he has any problems or they can't use him one night, they got a pretty good guy that pitched here tonight, Phillies. I mean, he looked good tonight.
VR tonight is 0 for 3. And he's a little late, fouls that one away. 0 for 4, I should say, on VR. Second consecutive at bat as a right-handed hitter.
Maybe nice to get him on base. Figure out any way to get Ryan Braun to the plate in this inning. That's a guy you want up.
Swing and a miss. 3-2 the count. Watson deals, and that one's popped up in the infield. Rodriguez makes the call, and he's got it for the out. And the Brewers are down to their last out. Two gone for Jeanette. This makes for a very tough matchup here. Jeanette against Watson. Watson's tough on right-handers, but especially tough on lefties. Scooter's been good against lefties this season. Trying to get Braun to the plate. And a little chopper foul. Don't forget, we'll do it again tomorrow night. Matt Garza and Ryan Vogelsong.
A couple of veteran guys going at it tomorrow.
Always been a fan of Vogelsong, and especially this year, coming back from that vicious line drive that hit him in the face. There's a liner, foul. 0-2 on Jeanette. There's Vogelsong. Tough guy.
Yeah.
Had some great years with the Giants. Started his career with the Pirates. He'll be up tomorrow against Garza. Brewers down to their last strike. Down a run, 10th inning, and Jeanette hangs tough.
Hanging right in there, keeping that front shoulder closed, just not giving an inch.
Oh-2 pitch, and that one's in there. A called strike 3, and the ball game is over. The Pirates win it. Andrew McCutchen delivers the big hit. A 10th inning RBI single with 2 outs, and the Pirates have snapped a 9-game losing streak here at Miller Park.
Yeah, with a pitch right on the outside corner. Dale Scott rings it up.
So the Pirates win the opener of this 4-game series. We'll do it again tomorrow night. Right now, it's time for Brewers Live as we check in with Craig Cashon. Craig?
Okay, Brian, boy, what a tough way to start this series against Pittsburgh. You're right. The winning streak against this team at Miller Park ends. We'll hear from Craig Counsell and show you what Andrew McCutchen did. Wow, what a game for him. Brewers Live is next.